Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. Aaron Portzline going to drop by at 10:30 on the Jackets' moves so far this offseason. We'll hit you with a little Hey Guys at 11 o'clock. Get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas. You can do that 2 ways. On the YouTube chat, we'll take care of it there, and also on the X platform at 971BFS. We'll handle those there. The winner there gets that $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank Distillery. Noah Strackbein going to join us on the Steelers at 11:30, and then of course you're officially endorsed. Are you guys? I want to try a new segment. This is the new segment. The new segment is Bo plays the part of 13-year-old NBC. Okay, so if you're watching on the YouTube stream, you guys can just pretend I'm a 13-year-old. You can ask me anything you want. You can ask me questions about sports. Ask me whatever you want. I'm going to tell you this right now. You guys don't have a 13-year-old son. This is what if you're out there and you have a young child who you love and who's excited to be around and wants to hang out with everybody and be a participant in society, well, this is what's coming. Okay, so I'll try and get the body language right, and you guys go ahead. This is the body language right now if you're on the YouTube stream. Let me get the hair in my face a little. Okay, go ahead.
So we just ask you questions about?
I don't care.
Anything you're interested in?
I don't care.
What do you want for dinner?
Greatest NBA player of all time?
Oh, no.
If you could do one thing right now, what would it be?
I don't care.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Why are you crashing out? Why are you crashing out on me?
Just asking
It's
questions.
not that deep. It's not that deep. Why are you crashing out?
What does any of that mean?
That's 13-year-old.
That sounds like a nightmare.
So last night we're at dinner, and that's what he's given me. How was your day? I don't know. How's your girlfriend? I don't care.
Hold on.
How are your friends? I don't know.
How'd you get your hair to go back so fast?
Oh, dude, come on.
Practice.
Years of training.
Yeah, you're on television for that many years.
I mean, it was all in your eyes, and then all of a sudden it's back perfect.
Buddy, I'm spit shined. I'm ready to go.
It's like a character wardrobe change in a Broadway play.
Yeah, that's right.
Watch how I do this.
Right back, and then we're right where we need to be. So we're at dinner last night. He's giving me nothing. How was your day? Oh, I don't care. I don't know. And so finally, I'm like, you know what? Like, instead of like saying, "Hey, dude, like let's have a little adrenaline. Let's talk to the family," I just started doing him.
That sounds like he was crashing out.
It was amazing.
I used that correctly?
You did.
Oh, perfect.
You did. Yeah.
All right.
Why are you crashing out? It's not that deep. So I just started acting like him. Like I just started doing all of it. Like I just put my hair in my face, and I just started as the 2 littles were asking questions, and my wife was asking questions. I don't know. I don't care. I don't know. I don't know. That's it. That's what you get. No, he wasn't always. And then he did break, and he started laughing, and it was all good. But yeah, that's what you're getting. If you're out there and you got sweet little kids running around, and they're somewhere between the ages of 12 and under, or probably my guess is I'm going to be in this until probably like 22 is my guess. Maybe there will be some golden years somewhere in there in the high school when we get some maturity or early college. But I'm ready. I mean, this is what I'm in for here for the foreseeable future. I'm prepared for it, but we certainly got there this summer. Reese, you have a big day Friday. This is your day. This is parade day.
It's not just my day. It's America's day.
Yeah, but it's your day.
This is the day we celebrate our Independence Day. Yeah, it's a 4th of July parade that everybody loves. Even Baker's Grove City Greyhounds send their marching band north and they perform almost every single year. They do a hell of a job.
Of course they do.
That's a pride of Grove City.
They had a great pop of color, red, white, and blue. Can't miss with those colors.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the one day on my calendar I look forward to, I think, the most. Sorry, Jesus.
I have got to, because when we first moved to town, we lived in Marble Cliff, and so that we
right
made
down the street.
Right down the street.
Literally.
So we were constantly, I mean, the first 2 years, definitely the first 2, and then when NBC was little, we were before he was, I don't care, I don't know, he was completely blown away by the UA 4th of July parade. I mean, that was a big moment. Do they still have the Shriners on the cars?
Yeah, the float fluffers.
That's the best gig.
Float fluffers.
Because when a truck's going too fast carrying one float, or there's some mechanical issues with another, you send the Shriners in and they zoom around and they take away everyone's attention from the gap in the parade. It's really brilliant. And
that's all I want to be. That's all I want to be.
Time, brother.
I know. That's it. Like, I just, when this is all done, I just want to be Buddy Garrity for, not my dog, I want to be that guy for a high school. I just want to get players and plant mailboxes, and then I want to drive the little Shriners cars in the parade. Is that too much to ask?
No. I was looking up, you can buy like the parts on eBay.
But can you buy one?
I don't think you can buy at least a whole one. I do think like the ones that are put together and complete, I think the Shriners keep those under lock and key. But you can get the parts pretty easily. You just have to be handy or know somebody like, I don't know. Everybody's got that guy that they know that like replace or fix up golf carts. He could probably put one together. Like, because now you see those driving around every neighborhood almost. If they're street legal, what's a car now? I'll just drive my golf cart up 3rd Avenue.
It's pretty damn convenient.
Oh, no. I don't hate on it. Yeah. I wish I could be in that.
Yeah. Why do you think? I mean, that's all a Tesla is. It's just a golf cart that's faster. That's all it is. It's amazing. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. All right. I'm trying to look for Shriners parade car for sale. I've never seen them for sale. I haven't. I don't know. I think you're right. I think those things are on lock and key, and like you have to go through some oath. I mean, I think it's like minus the whacking. I think it's like Tommy and Goodfellas when he gets made. I think that's kind of what you go through. You go through that, and then you get the keys to the little car.
Yeah, I'm getting some chatter on the YouTube chat that you have to become a Freemason first, and then you can become a Shriner.
You got to do both?
Yeah.
What's my initiation like? Anyone know? What's my initiation like on that? What do I got to do? What's my commitment? Can I fake it?
Oh, you can't fake something like that. Why would you even consider that?
I just want one of the cars. Like, wouldn't that be great to drive around the neighborhood?
Have you seen this is a Simpsons reference that I'm not sure, like the Stonecutter Society? When Homer tries to join that, and he has to push a boulder up a hill, and the boulder's chained to his leg.
So,
you know, I've never seen an episode of The Simpsons. Go ahead.
That blows my mind.
No, my brothers liked it. I don't know. I just have never seen an episode.
So it says, to become a Shriner, a man must first be a master mason in Freemasonry. If you are not a mason, you'll need to identify a lodge, apply for membership, and complete the 3 degrees of Freemasonry: entered, apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason. Once you are that, you can petition a shrine temple for membership.
So I got to be a builder?
I don't think you actually have to be a legit mason.
No, it's not you're not out there laying bricks with my dad.
Give me a piece of marble. All right.
I thought you were like,
figure this out.
Get your bricks right before you're able to. Let me see you build a wall here, Bo, before you can come on in.
You and my dad out there building houses together, block basements.
Some of that stuff I could do. I can hammer a nail, Bake. I can do that. If he ever needs a fence fixed, I can do that for sure. All right, so that seems very complicated. So I'm going to just hope that somehow I can come across one of those cars and buy one. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm sure eBay will have one
like
somewhere.
The little, like the old, I mean, these are the old kind of mini car bodies. I think you can probably buy those, and then a lawnmower motor, and again, finagle it with. Because do you have like a guy that you call to fix odds and ends?
Dave.
Like, hey, call him. Yeah, call Dave. Like, Dave probably could do it if you put like pieces all in front of him.
When the boys had the little ride-on cars when they were little, I tried to do one of them, and it wouldn't steer left. And so from then on, I'm like, all right, Dave, I think Dave will be the guy on this. All right. Well, I'm in high-speed pursuit of one of those. Hey, if you can have those electric bikes and electric scooters flying all over town that are completely lawless. Why can't I drive a Shriners car around town? I'll put a blinker on it. Who gets hurt?
No reason why not.
No reason I can't. Those two things feel like the same. We had Blue Jacket free agency, and get this, a Super Bowl in Ohio. We'll explain coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
He shoots, he scores! It's a great time of year to be a fan, but the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. Maryhaven is here to help with in-person, virtual, and group options. Learn more at maryhaven.com.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to sponsor the Fan and 10 TV's Beat the Heat fan drive, benefiting Life Care Alliance. You can help Ohio's most vulnerable residents deal with the extreme heat this summer. How can you help? Purchase new box fans and bring them to the nearest Franklin County Fire Station, or you can buy online and ship fans directly to Life Care Alliance. The collection and distribution of fans is to assist residents who are at risk of heat stroke or heat exhaustion. For more information, go to lifecarealliance.org.
At United Dairy Farmers, Peach is our most popular ice cream. And once you taste it, you'll know why. Right now, get 2 48-ounce cartons of UDF Peach ice cream for $10. It's only here for a short time. UDF Peach ice cream, made for you.
After an audit of our programming, the suits here at The Fan decided we needed more baseball. And that common man is stupid. Good news, we fixed one of those problems. Catch the Reds on The Fan all season long. Yay, baseball.
Hi, I'm Josie. My daughter turns 5 today. Blow out the candles. I'm also an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can get home to celebrate with my daughter.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. Let's all give them room to work. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
The outdoor drama Tecumseh is back this summer. The drama, the history, and the spectacle make Tecumseh one of Ohio's most beloved traditions. Tecumseh has provided thrilling live entertainment for 50 years, and the outdoor theater at Sugarloaf Mountain will provide a safe and memorable experience for your entire family. Get tickets now at tecumsehdrama.com. This message is made possible in part by the Ohio Arts Council. Tecumseh, experience the drama.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
After quite the rainy Tuesday, we see temperatures today soaring into the upper 80s, matched with plenty of sunshine and light winds. Mostly clear skies tonight with our lows down into the 60s. And then for Thursday, another sunny day ahead with our highs in the upper 80s to low 90s. Might have a stray shower that tries to form out there. Keep an eye out for that. For the fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 weather impact forecast.
Here's a quick 10-second reminder that the Buckeyes have won the Natty. Also, we are all the games, and we always will. Thank you. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
You hear that, kids? That's the sound of freedom. This July, declare your independence on the open road. Doing RCD RV's Declare Your Independence sale. It's running July 5th through the 19th. They're offering all-American savings on all in-stock motorhomes, fifth wheels, Traver trailers. Wave goodbye to ordinary vacations. Say hello to adventure. Stop by any of our locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala. Shop online anytime at rcdrv.com. Celebrate the red, white, and blue with unbeatable savings at RCD RV. RCD RV. Freedom starts on the open road. This happened. Friends of ours were headed out to Montana as we were flying back. They got a notification at 4:15 in the morning for a 7 o'clock flight that their flight was canceled. Not rebooked, canceled. Like, best of luck. Best of luck to you. They lost a day of their vacation. Total brutal. Ended up getting out there. You lose that. You don't have to deal with that anymore with my friends at RCD RV if you go that route. So there's another bit of peace of mind to you as you gather your independence. Listen, you're going to get a Super Bowl in Ohio. You just are. It's going to happen. It's not something you two both grew up here and are very well aware of the history. It's never been anything that's been in the cards before, but you're going to get one. I think you're going to get a national championship game in the state of Ohio. I think you're going to get Big Ten championship football games in the state of Ohio. I think you're going to get Final Fours in the state of Ohio, men's Final Fours in the state of Ohio. All of these things are now possible. You're going to get a WrestleMania in the state of Ohio. These things are what is possible when you build a dome. The dome officially became official once the budget was passed late on Monday into yesterday. And then yesterday you had some statements from Browns ownership about everything that is going to happen up there. But it is a pretty remarkable thing to think about what is going to be possible now. And that was not previously. And so for us, it's 2 hours up 71 North, and all of this stuff will be possible. You know, guys, I was thinking about this too. One of the topics we talk about a lot is what do you do with Ohio Stadium? This would now give you the possibility to renovate it. If you had to sit out of it for a year to get it right, to modernize, you could play your games up there. And because it's on the turf, it would be no big deal to play on a Saturday a Buckeye game and a Sunday a Browns game. It'd be very easy to do. You could splash one in Cincinnati, too. They have turf, obviously, as well. But it opens up the possibilities of that as well.
Yeah, Dane Sanzenbacher and I did about 20 minutes on this in a Saturday Spectacular a couple weeks ago on the idea. Because when they threw out the images or the renderings of the Brook Park Dome, that was it. That should have told everybody exactly what was going to happen. And similarly with the Bengals, even though there were rumblings that they were going to Mike Florio had some fun fear-mongering last week about...
Boy, he did.
About, Columbus now, theoretically, with the Modell law being changed, Columbus could poach the Cincinnati Bengals. And it's like, well, that's a fun thing you came up with. But neither were the Browns going to stay downtown or on the lakefront, nor were the Bengals going to move anywhere but that Paycor Stadium site. And now that both have their home through the next 25 years likely, or hopefully even more, you sell that. If you're Ross Bjork in Ohio State, you go to the Haslams, you go to the Browns, and you say, give us money and we will bring our traveling circus to you while we are renovating Ohio Stadium. And that's the biggest win you could possibly come up with if you're Ohio State's director of athletics. Getting money to go play football? Sure. More money, I should say.
Well, yeah, and it now makes it possible to do it. You know, nobody wants to not play Ohio State games in Ohio Stadium, but it's a 100-plus-year-old facility, and it needs to be updated in a big way. And yeah, I mean, it's going to, when they decide to do it, it's going to be a massive undertaking. And it's going to be one where it'd be pressed for me to believe you'd be able to play football games in there while you're doing it. And if that is the case, Well, now you've got a domed facility to go to and to be able to play in. So it's kind of a win in both of those regards, Bick.
And this is why, whether it's right, wrong, indifferent, you like it or you don't like it, this is why there is public money involved in this, because of all the things you just mentioned, because this stadium, as much as it's going to cost, is going to bring a whole bunch of revenue into this state that was not possible before this stadium will have been built. And it's an interesting topic with Ohio Stadium and what happens with that in the future. We've obviously talked about it a lot on this show. Something's going to have to happen. Mm-hmm. And you would think at some point there's going to be a year where there's no football in the shoe, at least for 1 year, while they're doing things they need to do to modernize it and keep it going. So it's a very interesting point in thought.
Yeah, and I think when you think of, so the taxpayer money is about $600 million is what it is. All of the rest of it, and the hunch is that this is going to be around $2.4 billion. All said and done is all Haslam money, so they're putting up the rest of it. So there is a public hit here, but there also is a tremendous public and private investment in that. And as you're making those comments about the money and the financial impact of all of it, every time I drive to Indiana. For all those years when we would go over there for a Big Ten basketball championship, or we go over there for a Big Ten football championship, why are we giving the money to the state of Indiana? Their representation of the Big Ten is Indiana and Purdue. Why? Why are we doing that? Why do they get to have it all of the time? Why can't we have it sometimes? And the answer was we didn't have a place to play it. Well, now you do. And my guess is, by the way, that Penn State would be thrilled to make the trip to Cleveland rather than Indianapolis. My guess is that the folks in Ann Arbor would appreciate it just fine to go play in Cleveland versus having to play in Indianapolis. And Indianapolis is fine. As much as I have beef with the state of Indiana, I don't have much beef with downtown Indianapolis. It's easy to get around. But at the same time, we deserve some of that stuff in the state of Ohio. We deserve to have a Super Bowl in the state of Ohio. The sport was birthed here. There should be a Super Bowl here, and there will be now.
A Final Four in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, so you can do all of those things now, let alone what it's going to be for the folks who are there the most, which are the Browns fans, because we mentioned this yesterday on the show, but there is going to be a moment of time where the best stadium on the planet is in Cleveland. That's what's going to happen here. They're going to build the new version of the Vikings Stadium. That's what they're building. It's going to be a cross between the Vikings and the Rams. I've been to both of those facilities. They're stunning, and that's what's going to be up there. So, yeah, I think it's I certainly understand when people say no public money should ever go to ultra wealthy to help them build stadiums. I understand that side of the argument, but I do think that the way that this was done, and I wanted to say that I saw that the Haslams are covering all overages as well. Anything that goes over, they're covering that too. So, and in terms of the benefit, to me, it's exponential. And I think of it from Buckeye football. Does there come a time where you play a national championship game up there? To me, it certainly seems in play. Isn't there one coming to Indy in the next few years? Isn't the national championship game going to Indy? I think it is.
Look that up.
I want to say that it is. I want to say that there was a Northern national title game coming. Or maybe they played one already. Did they already play one there? But there's one. I believe I have.
See,
this.
2022, Lucas Oil had one.
Okay, they had one. Okay, so that one can now be played in Ohio. So we can keep the money on this side.
Next year's in Miami, and then New Orleans, Tampa, back to Miami again. Boy, they love Hard Rock. Las Vegas is getting one in 27.
Las Vegas is getting the college football national championship game.
They get everything now. Nobody cares. There used to be such a stain on Las Vegas when it came to sports, and now all of it, just go.
Gosh.
We take the college kids, doesn't matter.
The 2026 College Football Playoff National Championship will be January 25th of 2027.
Oh, God. I don't know why they do that.
The week before the Super Bowl? 2 weeks before the Super Bowl.
2 weeks before, so it's even worse. It's AFC, NFC championship game. They're such boneheads, man. I mean, they just are. They're just so stupid with this calendar, and the fact that they're hell bent on going head to head with the NFL.
And, Bo, there are going to be some people out there, right, that are like, when we're talking about this and a one-year move for Ohio State up there while the shoe gets renovated, there's going to be some people that are like, oh, my gosh, you can't do that. Think of the students and this and that. Well, it's either that or the shoe goes bye-bye, and the next year you're playing in a brand-new stadium here in Columbus. So no matter what you do, people are going to be upset. Will it suck for a student that has a senior year that their games aren't here on their campus and they're up in Cleveland? Sure it was. But at some point when you have a 100-year-old stadium, something like this is going to happen. Either the stadium goes away or you go away for a year while it gets updated and fixed.
I'll say this. You want an intimate Ohio State football experience. To Baker's point, you can play up the street at the Marv Moorhead Memorial Stadium. I think it seats like 6,000.
I mean, I was at where Northwestern played last year.
About the same.
You got to build a couple more stands, but yeah.
Not much different, buddy. Not much different. I mean, the Chicago Bears played in Champaign. The Minnesota Vikings played at the Gopher Stadium. Like, this is what has to happen when you build something. And I'm not advocating for it. I'm advocating that the shoe needs a lot of money thrown into it to be made whole. But now you have an option. And all of these options weren't possible before this week, and now they are. So all of these things are going to become reality once that thing gets open in 2029. So it's definitely a win for the Ohio sports fan that you're going to be able to see these things in our state without having to travel the way you have previously. Jeremiah Smith, pretty confident that he's got a win at the quarterback position. We will have those comments for you in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
Level up your summer projects with 4th of July savings on top brand cordless power tools from the Home Depot. Whether you're working on a fence, a planter box, or a new workbench, get the power and runtime you need with the Ryobi One Plus 18-volt 2 toolkit from the Home Depot for only $99, was $139. Get 4th of July savings on the cordless power you need to make summer projects easier than ever. Right now at the Home Depot.
Hey friends, Beamer here. Ready for the 4th? I know I'm going to be enjoying steaks, ribs, maybe a cold soda pop or two, but guess what? It's the same tasty stuff I enjoyed while dropping 75 pounds with Wakin 180. That's the beauty of this program. It's doable, no medications, no starvation, just great food while I dropped an average of 4 to 5 pounds every week. Make this summer your best yet. Drop the weight while keeping the flavor. Celebrate freedom from dieting stress. You can visit awaken180weightloss.com.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Your neighborhood Kroger pharmacy is happy to welcome back Express Scripts Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense Plan members. It's easy to transfer prescriptions at Kroger.com/payer update. See your Kroger pharmacy for details.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, here's what's up on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Jeremiah Smith speaking with the Athletics' Manny Navarro. We had some of this yesterday in regard to his comments about never losing to Michigan again and so forth and so on. This is a wide-ranging interview that Jeremiah did. A lot of this stuff garnered attention, but one of the things that I found this morning as I was taking a second read at it were these comments about Julian Sayin. So we're going to have a quarterback competition that's going to commence as soon as we get to camp, and we'll be there, by the way, for those first few days of camp to get a look of it. And if you remember last year at this time, there was a quarterback competition too. It didn't, as soon as you were there, though, it didn't really feel like it. Reese, I know you were out there too with Tyvis. You guys were out there on the weekend. It was, to me, it was plainly obvious right away that it was Will Howard. And I know that it was a competition and they didn't name it, but it was pretty clear. Even if he wasn't getting the first reps, the look of it just looked like that. I'm curious if it'll look that way this time, or if this will be more of a true competition. My hunch is it'll be the latter. That'll be a little bit more similar to maybe when Kyle McCord won the job, where they were kind of open back and forth and kind of waiting for someone to win it. Jeremiah Smith did weigh in on one of those quarterbacks, and it was Julian Sayin, who I think is the presumed starter. I think most people assume that Julian will be the starting quarterback. I would say, based on the folks I've talked to around the Ohio State program, don't count out Lincoln Kienholz by any means. That the spring that he had was very, very real. Obviously, Julian had a very good spring game, but the spring that he had was very real, and that he is going to be given every single opportunity. But Jeremiah had this to say about Julian, quote, "That arm is different. He can make any and every throw, just a smart quarterback. Like me, he's a little quiet, but he's starting to come out of his shell. He's definitely going to be a guy. It's going to be scary for opponents." I mean, that's what it looked like as soon as he got on campus. As soon as you saw him throw. I mean, we even remember that last year in the open practices we had. Like, you're watching him and you can see him spin it, and you go, okay, there's something a little bit different about that. So just a matter of intangible, can he get up to speed with everything else? And that's something that that played out in spring. It'll play out again in the fall.
I get I get they want to make this a clear quarterback competition. I just keep going back to the idea with 5 quarterbacks in their room, they went and got Julian Sayin out of the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And yes, last year at camp, it was clear to everybody with a working pair of eyeballs and even a double-digit IQ like me, Will Howard's your quarterback. Will Howard's pretty quickly became the alpha of that team, of a team of alphas. And so I do think that's going to be the biggest difference with this, because Julian Sayin does not strike me as the guy who's ready to be an alpha, especially on a team loaded with him. But you can't fool the room, and you certainly can't fool people who have watched as much football as that coaching staff. And Jeremiah Smith's not just saying this because, I just want to show love to a guy throwing me the football.
And you hear these comments, and it's like, oh, man, Jeremiah says this. You know, this is Julian Sayin's job. He's going to be the starting quarterback. And it seems like that's probably what's going to happen. But he's probably just asked about Julian Sayin. I don't think he was just asked about the quarterback position, and he goes on this rant about, he probably would have said similar things about Lincoln Kienholz if he was asked about Lincoln Kienholz. So I try not to put too much stock in these kind of things, because it's the context of what he's answering and what he was asked. But I don't think there's any doubt that Julian Sayin is a special talent, and he has an ultra quick release that is something like, very few we've ever seen before.
Yeah, there's a natural flick to it that's pretty... to me, he's got a lot of, and I understand that it hasn't gone maybe the way that you want in the pros, but to me, he reminds me a lot of Bryce Young when he was at Alabama. I mean, if you think about that accuracy, that release, that ability to see the field, that's what it reminds me of. And I know people will say, well, Bo, like, Bryce hasn't been great in the NFL. Okay, not yet. He was drafted to a tough spot, but he was the number 1 pick in the draft. So this is... this is a hell of a compliment to say that he reminds me, but that's what his playing style reminds me of, is Bryce Young.
And Bo, I remember us talking about this. I can't remember if it was before the Notre Dame game or the Texas game, but somebody put out on Twitter a video of all the quarterbacks throwing, and you see Will throw, and you see Devin throw. It looked different when Julian and Lincoln threw the ball. Yeah. Both of them compared to Will Howard and Devin Brown. And then you see Tavian St. Clair, and it's even different with him, just the way his arm action, almost more like a baseball player, and he just slings it. Like, I don't think there's any doubt, like, the arm talent in this year's quarterback room is way better than it was last year, and that's no offense to Will Howard or Devin Brown.
I think it's probably best aligned with, like, the Fields CJ room. Like that type of talent in Kyle, right? I mean, Kyle's a natural thrower. Like, I mean, when all those guys were in there, yeah, I'm with you. I think that's fair to say that the type of, it's also, I mean, it just stinks that they're all kind of the same age. They're not, the way that it worked, there isn't kind of a guy in between. Usually you'd want him to be, a guy. My guess is if Ryan Day if you hooked him up to a lie detector test, what he would want is give me a 2-year starter. So you sit for a year or 2, play for 2. Sit for a year, play for 2. I'm guessing that's the rhythm he would want here. So, but with this, one of these 2 is going to win it, Sayin or Lincoln, and then Tavian he'll sit, and maybe they have packages, who knows? But I mean, he's going to wait his turn, and if he waits his turn, the payoff will be immense. But of the other 2, I don't think whoever loses the job can wait their turn. I mean, they'll be the backup here next year, but then in the portal in December, they got to be gone, and they got to go play.
Especially Lincoln.
Yeah,
Lincoln
and I think
will have to go play.
And I think Julian would too, because you have Tavian sitting there. So if Lincoln were to win, then I think Julian would go in December. At some point you have to play. That's the position where you have to get some reps at it, and you have to balance being all of the things that come with it. I think it's a hell of a testament to Ryan and Brian and everybody up there on the offensive side of the ball that they're all here now. That they're all still here and competing. I think it's a hell of a tribute to what they do in terms of coaching them up and getting guys ready for the league. To me, all of those things, all the pieces matter on that thing, and the fact that they're all here is a big deal.
So it's July 2nd.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a December portal in December?
I don't know.
So how does that affect a quarterback's decision? Right? If you go to the January portal or the April portal, does whoever loses this battle hang around for one more spring?
I don't think so. I think that the time to leave, I think what we're going to find is like what Prabula did last year at Penn State. I think if the time, and he wasn't thrilled about it, but I think that the time to leave, if you're going to go play quarterback somewhere else, the time to leave is in December, because that way you can get to new school and you can go through spring and go through off season and all of that. And I think what we're finding is that it's really difficult to hop in the portal as a quarterback in April. You're basically having to play catch up throughout the summer, and unless it's just a spot that's quarterback desperate, it's hard to see it working out. One other thing that was pretty interesting, I'm glad you guys put this in the prep. I'd missed this, but Jeremiah Smith signed an apparel deal with Adidas. He said, quote, I've been wearing Adidas since I was a young kid, 11, 10 years old. To be part of that brand is something special. It's notable, of course, because Ohio State is a Nike school and gets paid handsomely. I think Ohio State makes the most in the country, most of any school in the country off of their shoe and apparel deal. And so this, now, if you're asking, is there precedent for this? Yes, there is. Last year, Cooper Flagg. So the way that this will go for Jeremiah is that when he plays for Ohio State, he will be in Nikes. And then the rest of the time he can be in Adidas. But we saw this with Cooper Flagg last year, who signed the New Balance deal and then played in Nikes all year for Duke.
I wonder if that will keep him out of the Nike commercials this year, because, he was prominent in that Nike commercial last year. I wonder if that's the case. I also think, Bo, this was when you were out. You might have missed this, and Reese, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Chris Henry Jr., we found out last week, has a deal with Adidas too, which was kind of interesting with him coming to Ohio State.
Well,
high schooler. Already got one.
Yeah.
Good for him. And also, to your point real quick about Jeremiah and the Nike ad, it would behoove Nike. Throw him in there.
Yeah, why not?
Why not, right? We got an Adidas athlete in one of our commercials? Sure.
Now, I don't know if the one thing I don't know is, does he have to, because he's an Ohio State athlete? Does he have to do it?
But if you use that footage from the Rose Bowl of him, jumping up.
Well, that's true.
You can use that footage.
Sure you can. Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, it's a pretty wild time we're in, kids. Mm-hmm. When you think about, all of these things. I mean, we saw it in recruiting with Darren Peterson, who's the #1 high school basketball player in the country, who signed with Kansas because he had a 7-figures Adidas deal as a 16-year-old.
But we talked about this last week, too, by the way. Just speaking of Chris Henry Jr., they had a whole thing of him in an Ohio State jersey wearing number 15. There are very few athletes that I've seen that just that number fits them like him. Like, he just looked right in that 15 jersey. Yeah, I mean, I was like, man, I can see that.
I'm with you. I can see that. I also think the teens maybe are making a little bit of a comeback as numbers. I think they're all pretty cool. I mean, you can talk yourself into a lot of those, and they look pretty cool on a football uniform.
Also, in this reporting of The Athletic from Manny Navarro, quote, Smith humbly admitted he's lost count of how many companies have hired him to promote their products. Jeez. The list includes American Eagle Outfitters, Battle Sports, DSW, Red Bull, Lululemon, and Chipotle. Smith said he does all his photo shoots for those companies when he's not in school.
I wonder if he's eating Chipotle while he's driving. Like Tyvis.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. That isn't smart.
Whenever Tyvis Powell tells you he's doing or done something, just don't do it at this point.
You know what I am very curious about with all of these endorsement things, and God bless these kids for being able to make this money. Like, what is the ROI for some of these companies on a 19-year-old football player? Because just think about NFL players with endorsements. It's a short list, guys. It's a very short list. NFL players outside of quarterbacks, there's a handful, but not many. And I understand he is one of one, right? But he's still a 19-year-old kid. Like, are they getting their ROI on that? And there's no way to know. I mean, this isn't basketball where, like, you wear my shoes. Like, they had the Cooper Flagg shoes ready to go the second he was drafted. Like, it's a little bit different. So I'm very curious to see that part of it.
I would guess for them, it's all the tax write-offs where it's helping them out, right? You got to pay for advertising anyway. We got to get some of this money off the books. I'm guessing that's where it helps them.
Yeah, it's a fascinating play, but anytime he talks, we pay attention. And the beautiful thing around here is we have 2 more years of it. Man, does the WNBA's players hate Caitlyn Clark. We will get to that, among other things, coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we helped Chad.
Hi, I'm Chad. I've been taking the low T treatment at Tri-State Men's Health for a little under a year now. So I was really just struggling with finding the energy to accomplish the things I wanted to do every day. By the end of the workday, I was very drained and tired and found it hard to concentrate and get my job done, and was looking for something to kind of get that edge back. Once I started taking the treatment, I felt probably within the first 2 to 3 weeks more energy. And the thing that really I noticed right away was sleeping. Now I get a solid 8 hours. You know, I'm going on vacation. I'm enjoying myself. So men out there, if you're struggling with any of the symptoms I was, low energy, brain fog, lack of sleep, I would highly recommend you call Tri-State Men's Health. You won't regret it.
Thanks, Chad. It's true. Low T therapy will likely change your life. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Common Man here. I want to talk to you about my buddy Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. It's rare that a business comes along and offers you such great quality, service, price. If you or someone you love or like, or even strangers on the street tell you they need a jeweler, tell them you got a guy, and that guy is Bob Capace at Worthington Jewelers.
I'm Bob Capace, and I'm your guy.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington, worthingtonjewelers.com, where Columbus gets engaged.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
Back to Hollywood Casino Columbus and the ESPN Bet Sportsbook for an all-star game celebration and watch party. When? Tuesday, July 15th. Compete in our home run derby at 7 o'clock for a chance to win an incredible experience at an upcoming Reds game, plus a $250 gift card. So join On the Money's Dave Biddle and me, Scotty Vegas. Compete to win at 7 and enjoy the all-star game at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at 8. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio.
Right now, save up to $494 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Join the Fan weeknights at 6 for the Buckeye Show. And if you're asking if it's just a bunch of homers rooting for all things Ohio State, yes it is. Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-372-2017. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-372-2017. 800-372-2017. 800-372-2017.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Columbus, Worthington, Air, and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Beck, before we do the Caitlyn Clark story, give me your summation of Blue Jackets offseason through draft and the free agency frenzy of yesterday.
Pretty disappointing to me, honestly. Expecting big things this offseason and them really trying to improve this team with the cap space and the assets they have. I liked the Charlie Coyle, Miles Wood trade. I know a lot of people thought they overpaid, but it's just 1 year of Coyle. He's a guy that could play in your top six, probably going to be on your third line, either as a center or a right winger, a guy that's never missed the playoffs in his career, will give you about 50 points. And then Miles Wood, he had some injuries and some downtime in Colorado, but I like the upside of him. I love the Dante Fabro signing, but I think they really overpaid per Provorov. I think you could have got the same production for a lot less. Provorov, you know what you're getting from him. Over 20 minutes a night, 30 to 40 points a game. He's always going to be in the lineup, so that's good, but I don't think it's worth $8.5 million. I hate that they did not re-sign JVR, a guy who could move all over your lineup and really brought a lot of experience to the team, and especially for the price, right? He signs in Detroit for $1 million.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to improve your defense and your goaltending, and it's pretty much the same right now. So it sounds like you're hoping on Jet Greaves to either really push Elvis or to be the Jet Greaves you saw at the end of last season for a full year. So it's pretty disappointing to me. I thought we'd get more.
Yeah, the JVR one I know Jody's not going to like that. I mean, I know how big of a proponent he was, Reese, all season with Shelley time on what JVR's did.
Yeah, and you're going to be putting a lot of hope that your younger guys can take even further leaps and bounds this offseason. Like, they have their development camp starting today. Cade Lindstrom's going to be part of that group, but Lindstrom's going to be at Michigan State in the fall. You have the Russian goalie that you picked with the 20th overall pick. He'll be on the ice this week, so you get a good look at them. But, yeah, this is, hey, we were great last year. Run a lot of it back and hope that everybody who made leaps and bounds last season will do another kind of leap this year, which isn't great.
We'll talk to Porty at 10:30 and get a feel if there was more out there to be done and they just blew it, or if it just wasn't. I mean, we talked about it. Like, everybody had space, and it just seems like it was hard for, folks just didn't want to leave. There wasn't a whole lot of movement. I mean, it was the Marner deal and a few other things, but there just wasn't a whole lot out there to be able to get done. I said this last summer. It went a little bit viral. We had a little bit of fun with it, that Caitlyn Clark was Tiger Woods. And what I meant by that, and explained it, I think, pretty decent at the time, was not that she was going to become the greatest women's basketball player of all time, but that from a attention given to the sport standpoint, she is Tiger Woods. She took something that was established, and then she put it on a rocket ship on her back, and more people are watching than ever before. And it is her. There's nothing else. I mean, she is the singular person who has done this. I even saw over the weekend people saying if she started her own league, it would take out the WNBA, which that seems like a lot, but that's how popular she is, except among her peers. So Caitlyn Clark, who is leading, obviously the WNBA's leading all-star vote getter by a record-setting margin, finished the 9th best guard according to players. She's averaging 18 and 9 and 5 boards. Jealous much? Now, before you say, well, this is whatever it might be, some people go down the political thing. Like, speaking of Tiger Woods, there's the parallel. I'm old enough to remember when Tiger got on tour. And people would make comments about, well, just wait till he has to play with us. We'll see what this kid can do. Fuzzy Zeller at the Masters. There was all of that stuff. It was all there. And Tiger had to deal with all of it. Wait till he comes up and plays with the big boys. And then what did he do? I mean, how many events did it take him to win? He won in Phoenix, didn't he? Almost in the first couple of starts, he won in Phoenix. And then wins the Masters in 98 and everybody shuts up. And that's where she is. That's where she is. Eventually, she will get there with sport. I think the thing that's really difficult, though, is it's hard for me to understand how you cannot understand that your sport has been elevated by this person. The idea that she'd be voted the 9th best guard it's just laughable. Just utter nonsense. And I think they blew it by not putting her on the Olympic team. I didn't need to see Diana Taurasi playing her 75th Olympics.
Well, so remember after that, they asked Dawn Staley about Caitlyn Clark not being available or not being selected. She's like, well, we just don't think her game's there. And this was before the Olympic break, and then you enter the Olympic break, and you come out, and Caitlyn Clark continues to have an incredible freshman campaign. And it's like, no, her game was there. You just, for some reason, and arguing with the people that don't think Caitlyn Clark's one of the best players in the WNBA, certainly better than 9th best guard, it's kind of like just yelling at a brick wall. You don't understand why they think and believe this way and that they're not going to change their mind.
It's interesting that they put Kelsey Mitchell over her, she's on her same team. And I have said Kelsey Mitchell's the best female basketball player I've ever seen in person with my own eyes. And that's when she was in high school. And then into college, like Kelsey Mitchell averaged over 30 points a game in high school down at Cincinnati. I believe it was Princeton. And she was great, but obviously...
By the way, good game for her last night, Beck.
Yeah. And she is a little older now at 29. So she's averaging 18.9 points a game, 1.9 rebounds, 2.9 assists, and just under 1 steal a game. Caitlyn Clark, 18.2, 8.9 assists, and 5 rebounds a game. So... they're pretty close there in what they do. And like I said, Kelsey's the best I've ever seen in person. But I just think it's interesting. Like, those stats are pretty similar. I don't know who's better, who's not. I don't watch it. The one thing I do know, and I heard Bone talking about this, unless you follow the WNBA, you can't question on this unless you can name 9 WNBA players. I don't have to see 9 WNBA players to know that Caitlyn Clark is better than the 9th best guard in the league.
Yeah. If you lead the league in assists as a rookie, and I'm sure she's leading it now at 8.9, that's got to be the league lead. If you're leading and you're, by the way, averaging 18 and 5, you're one of the 9 best players in the league, let alone 9 best guards. That's just silly, and hopefully some of that starts to dissipate. But it goes with the Tiger Woods parallels that I mentioned last summer, and he dealt with all of this stuff. Here's a winner for you. We want to do that. You want to go 821-9710 on this, Bake? Is that what we want to do? We got charity softball game tickets to give away, the Cardale Jones charity softball game tickets. The winner gets a family 4-pack of tickets to the Cardale Jones charity softball game. It's Saturday, July 19th, Huntington Park. Team Cardale versus Team Braxton Miller. By the way, he doesn't need Miller on the end. It can just be Team Cardale versus Team Braxton. He is known. If you aren't the winner, don't worry. Tickets can be purchased for $10 at BuckeyeCruise.com. BuckeyeCruise.com. You can scoop those up. We'll go Braxton War 5. We'll go fifth caller at 821-9710. Scoops up those tickets and the family 4-pack of that. Second hour of the program coming up next. Porty at 10:30. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
Catch T-Bone and Tyvis weekday mornings from 6 to 9. If you're not completely satisfied, we'll rewind time and erase your brain. For real, the Fan.
It's July in Central Ohio. The grills are hot, the sun is hotter, and chances are you've seen a Newman Roofing truck rolling through your neighborhood. Maybe you've talked to one of our team members at a local event or know someone who proudly says, yeah, I've got a Newman roof. At Newman Roofing, we're more than just a roofing company. We're your neighbors. And for the last 33 years, your support has helped us grow as a family-owned business. So we give back the best way we know how. With quality work, lasting relationships, and a lifetime workmanship warranty that means you'll never be left out in the rain. Thousands of families across Central Ohio have trusted us and had their expectations exceeded. And it's why we've been voted Best Roofing Company in Best of the Bus magazine for 4 years running now. So this summer, don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
He shoots, he scores! No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
It's your lucky day because at Speedway, there's a $5,000 winner every single day. All you do is shop with Speedy Rewards. Then play the in-app game for a chance to win $5,000 in cash. So you could win $5K today, or the next day, or the next day, or the next... Okay, you get it. New daily cash winners only at Speedway. Are you next? No purchase necessary. Ends 1/6/26 USDC 16 plus. For official rules and free gameplay, go to 5k-a-day.com/rules.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Did you know their co-founders are Ohio natives? Yep, with over 15 years replacing windows in the Columbus region, Window Nation knows what windows work best for Ohio homeowners like you. And right now, you can get 50% off all window styles plus no interest until 2030. That's right, 0 interest for 5 whole years. Even better, you can take advantage of the best deal of the year while getting one-day installation with Window Nation. Call 866-90-NATION today or visit windownation.com for your free quote.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. NHL's free agency rolls along. The Blue Jackets lost several players on Tuesday. James Van Riemsdyk signed with the Red Wings. Justin Danforth agreed to a deal with the Sabres. Sean Corrali signed with the Bruins. Jackets will host their recent draft picks and younger prospects today through Sunday for their annual development camp. That includes the 4th overall pick from last year, Caden Lindstrom. He'll play at Michigan State this upcoming season. In baseball last night, the Reds and Red Sox were rained out in the top of the 4th at Fenway. They'll make it up today around 2:25. You can hear that makeup over on ESPN Columbus. Both teams will then play the finale of a 3-game set at 7:10. You can hear that one on the Fan following the Buckeye show. As for the Guardians, Cleveland dropped their 5th straight, a 5-2 loss to the Cubs at Wrigley Field. They're 3 games under 500 at 40-43. They'll look to halt a 5-game slide against the Cubs tonight at 8 p.m. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
10 feet tall and bulletproof isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are. It is the First Friday Miracle edition of the program, which means it is a Hey Guys First Friday. So get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas. Best one there gets that $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank. You can do so via the X platform. By the way, is your guys' X platform working okay?
No, X is down.
Okay, so I just noticed that as well. The YouTube chat also works.
YouTube chat.
YouTube chat it is. So get those questions in.
I guess you could email it. We can't tell you where to email.
Tomorrow.
Well, sure, but
how the hell would I decipher? I mean,
filter.
Well, that's too much work for me.
Okay, no, don't email.
I'm too old for that. But yeah, so mine's back up now. It dropped in that last segment, and then it's back. But there will come a time, I think, when the faucet goes off on that, and it might not be the worst thing ever when it finally does. One of the themes of my time in talking about sports, whether it was in TV or the last decade or so plus in radio, is that we have. It's really one of the biggest changes in it, and it comes to the ability to identify greatness sooner. We can, if you look at from a college football perspective, if you look at a 5-star list, most of those guys hit now. There was a time 20 years ago where you didn't see everybody play, and everybody didn't have a hype video, and there wasn't YouTube for everybody. And so what happened is that where these guys were ranked was dependent on evaluators, boots on the ground. What did they make of them? What did Tom Lemming think of a guy? That type of a thing. That's kind of the way that recruiting worked when I first started covering on a major level in the early 2000s. Now, these guys are seen. They are known. And big picture, we are coming out of an era, just step out of the college football realm for just a second. We're coming out of an era where in the mid to late 90s, we had unprecedented hit rate on prodigies. We told you Sidney Crosby would be great, and he was. We told you LeBron James would be great, and he was. The Williams sisters. There are countless examples of brilliance. Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods, brilliance identified young, and then it hit. So when you see one coming, they would say, and then all of those folks hit. So back to the college football side of it, there is something that is going to happen this year that is pretty unprecedented. And I don't think we're ever going to see it again either. And lucky for us, we're going to get the very first shot at it, and that is Arch Manning at quarterback at Texas. So he's as hyped as any prospect has been nationally, maybe ever. He came of age in an era of social media and YouTube and all that comes with it, but doesn't participate much in that. It's different, too, because he didn't have a typical quarterback prodigy upbringing. He played at the same small school in New Orleans that both of his uncles and his father played at in high school, Isidore Newman. It's a small school. It's not a situation where he played at IMG or St. Thomas Aquinas or one of these massive programs where you play the best teams in the country. He didn't do that. That's not what he did. He did the Manning Passing Academy, and that was kind of it. And then he did something that I don't think we'll ever see again, which is he just sat. He just sat and waited his turn and seemed to be completely comfortable in doing so. Well, he will wait no more. He's going to start this year at Texas, and he'll start next year at Texas. And I don't think anybody who's an evaluator from a college or pro perspective expects him to play anything less than 2 years as starting quarterback at Texas. That is well understood. So the hype train is off the tracks at this point with Arch Manning and heading downhill in a hurry. Our buddy Paul Feinbaum, who will join us tomorrow at 10:30, weighed in on Arch Manning and all that is going to come with it.
The absolute roof. I think there's a reasonably good chance that Arch Manning will be sitting on the front row in New York at the Heisman ceremony. That's assuming that his team does what it's supposed to do and compete for not only the SEC, but for the national championship. And I really believe they will. I think Steve Sarkisian, who's one of the most amazing play callers I've ever seen, made a critical mistake late in the year. He was way too loyal to Quinn Ewers, who was banged up and was really ineffective. Had Arch Manning been instituted in the second half of that game, like Nick Saban did a couple of years ago with Tagovailoa, I think there's a reasonably good chance that Texas would have beaten Ohio State and won the national championship. They're very capable of doing it again this year. I believe also that Arch Manning is the best college football quarterback we have seen since Tim Tebow entered the scene in 2006.
Hell yeah.
That's great.
What a take.
That is a lot. Paul went a lot of places in one take, didn't
he? Rack that one.
There was I'll ask him about it tomorrow.
I was going to say, he's giving you a lot to
tomorrow
talk about
10:30.
tomorrow at 10:30.
You got the whole segment mapped out, brother.
Now, Paul will be very honest about it because he'll also acknowledge that this is the time of year where, like, the folks like Get Up need a little something from him. Like, he's quick to, so, like, this is a...
We fat-shamed Brett Bielema last week.
Right.
How you follow that up?
It's one of those things where, like, there's not a whole lot going on. You got what do you got in the college football world that we can talk about for 20 minutes? I can give you an Arch Manning take. Sold. Let's do it. The one thing I would say, though, that Tim Tebow, I was there when he was a freshman at Florida, and he was a novelty at Florida. He was an incredibly raw passer. I mean, that's the jump pass era Tebow. He wasn't fully formed until the next year. Now, the next year he won the Heisman, but that first year there, he was a gadget player. And so he was a 5-star recruit, Tim was, and it came down to Florida and Alabama, and Urban won him over for Florida. And he's probably one of the most important recruits in the history of college football because that set it off for Urban to be able to have Tim in place. And obviously they won a couple of national titles during that time, including one his freshman year, obviously. But man, the idea that so that's just the one discrepancy there in terms of it wasn't like Tim showed up at Gainesville and was, hey, let's bench Chris Leak and go win a national championship with the true freshman. And that's not what happened at Texas either. I do think that anytime there is questioning of Arch, and I think it's logical, the logical questioning would be, why didn't Sark play him? If he's so good, why didn't he play him? Like, where was the loyalty? Why would he have more loyalty to Quinn Ewers and his family than he would to Arch Manning and his? Or... here's what we don't know. Only the people in those rooms having those conversations knows. Was Cooper Manning, Arch's dad, was he cool with him? Did he prefer him waiting and not playing right away? I suppose that's possible. But that's always the pushback you get. If he's so great, why didn't he play last year?
And we asked Paul, because Steve Spurrier had comments last week. He was on a podcast.
Yeah.
And he asked the same question. And I asked Paul about that last week. And Paul seems to think, because Paul's has Arch Manning winning the Heisman already, or at least being a Heisman finalist, that it was Sark just with too much loyalty to Quinn Ewers. And if that's the case, woof, Texas, that's not great. Because then you're putting loyalty over a national championship?
Where would that loyalty come from, Reese? Was it just because he decided to pledge?
Similar tastes in taxidermy?
Quinn was a huge... Yes.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. No.
Could it just simply be money?
I don't know. It could. It could be booster money. Like maybe boosters lined up and paid Quinn a lot to make sure that he was there, and they wanted to see it through. He's a Texan. He was a massive recruit for Sark, though, too, because, I mean, he was the perfect prospect, remember? And he came here because he was trying to make money in NIL because they couldn't do it in Texas, and so that's why all of those things happened.
The kombucha cowboy.
He was, but so maybe there was something from the Texas side of like, hey, man, you gave me momentum right away and I needed it. So maybe that's where that loyalty came from.
We also know these coaches just get in a comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
And they fall in love with what they know. in what they knew was Quinn Ewers and what he could give them. Maybe what they didn't know is exactly what Arch could do. Like, yeah, maybe we put Arch in and it gets better, but what if? Like, we saw Kirby Smart be loyal to, was it Jake Fromm? And that's why Justin Fields ended up here at Ohio State, because he knew what he had with Fromm. There's very few Nick Sabans out there that are like, man, Jalen Hurts has won a lot of games for us, and he's really good. But this guy gives us a better shot, I think, so he's going in.
Here's a little dirty little secret, too. Sark did bench Ewers in the Georgia game.
I guess that is true.
He benched him before half. He gave Arch 2 series before half, and then they went back to Quinn in the second half. But he did. He did bench him. And then Quinn got hurt, and he had a couple of starts. He's such an interesting case because everything is at an 11 from a fame standpoint, from a notoriety standpoint, all of it. But we've seen so little of him. And that's why that game, when it happens, it's going to be unlike anything you've seen. It truly is when you think about all that goes into that one, which kind of got me thinking about Arch Manning and the wait to play him and the hype that surrounds him. Which Buckeyes in our lifetime had similar hype coming in, whether they lived up to it or not? We'll get into that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, we're here to help keep you on the road so you can soak up all the summer fun. The road tunes.
Take me out to the ball game.
Hotel pools. Emergency ice cream stops. The sunscreen and bug spray everywhere.
It's in my eyes!
At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, we're here for it all. So stop in for a quick oil change before you go. Only takes about 15 minutes. No appointment needed.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Let's be honest, we could all use a little vacation from the ordinary. But with Tim Hortons' new refreshers, you don't need to pack your bags. Just sip, relax, and enjoy your refreshing 16-ounce vacation. With tropical mango packed with real pineapple and mango pieces. And strawberry watermelon kiwi featuring real pieces of strawberry and kiwi. Also, try it with lemonade or coconut milk. A choose-your-own taste bud adventure. Head to Tim's for the new refreshers. Your 16-ounce vacation awaits. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included. Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. Concerned about your investment's rate of return? Let us show you exactly how your portfolio is performing. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Tita Green with Skip Mosick.
Saturday, we're at Columbus Country Club, the site of this year's Fan Golf Classic, with PGA professional Ryan Cole, plus Dave Shedlowski of Golf Digest.
Tita Green with Skip Mosick, Saturday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
Hey there, I'm Brad. I'm about to win the Tuesday Night Bowling League Championship. Strike. I'm also a highway worker for the Ohio Department of Transportation. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can bowl the winning strike with my buddies.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton. ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
After quite the rainy Tuesday, we see temperatures today soaring into the upper 80s, matched with plenty of sunshine and light winds. Mostly clear skies tonight with our lows down into the 60s. And then for Thursday, another sunny day ahead with our highs in the upper 80s to low 90s. Might have a stray shower that tries to form out there. Keep an eye out for that. For the fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 weather impact forecast.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are, and we are sponsored and brought to you by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. Most hyped you've ever been. I'll go to both of you guys on this. Central Ohio natives. Think back to your childhood even. Most hyped you've ever been for a Buckeye freshman or debut.
What a great question.
I got to say, playing against, I was on the Upper Arlington team that played against Dublin Kaufman when they had Jake Stoneburner and Mike Adams. I didn't see the field, but I was there. That was pretty cool to see those guys make their Buckeye debuts, from a hometown perspective.
Mike's 5-star.
Yep.
And he's the best tackle in the country.
So for me, I would think, and Bo, I've said this is probably the best high school football player I've ever seen with my own two eyes. I would think for me it's probably Andy Katzenmoyer.
Ooh. What do you remember about him getting 45?
I remember that he asked Archie. Mm-hmm. I don't think Archie's number was up yet, was it, at that time?
Before my time, I don't know.
I can't remember, but I do think that they asked Archie if it was okay. And Archie, of course, being the guy that he is, gave him his blessing.
So it wasn't issued for, do I have this right? I'd need Jack Park or somebody like that. Was it not issued from Archie until Big Cat? Is that, even if it wasn't retired, was it kind of we're not giving that out? Kind of like the Steelers with Bradshaw, we're not giving 12 out?
I feel like that's the case, but I'm not positive.
Jerry Emick know too. I'm curious. Just imagine that in today's day and age. A 5-star linebacker from Westerville asks Arch to wear 45. I told that story before about that recruit, Ernie Sims, who asked Auburn and Georgia and Florida State to unretire 34, and they all offered to. So there's precedent for it in those days. But that had to be a scene, man. Asking Arch to wear that number, and Big Cat was one of those guys that even where I was high school or college at that time, and he he was, you immediately were aware of him as that. For me, here, it's Prior.
You covered that whole saga.
It's Terrell Prior. Yeah. He was...
That's the answer, by the way. There has been no more hype, I think, ever with a player than Prior with the Buckeyes.
I think that is the answer. I think he's the answer. He might be the answer in all of college football. Trevor Lawrence had a little bit of that to him, but he was... Terrell Prior was... for the kids, you're coming out of watching Vince Young in your barn. And you're coming out of watching Vince Young dethrone the Trojan dynasty. on his own, kind of. And then the thinking was, this guy's better. This guy's better than Vince Young. And he's from Jeanette, Pennsylvania, and we're in on him. And it's Ohio State and West Virginia and Penn State that we're in on him. And the hype around him, that all of us were over there for his initial signing day, where he delayed it. On National Signing Day, he delayed it, that he needed more time. Then he played his basketball season, then he finally ended up playing. It was such a circus. Media Day was such a circus. And I love Tress, but I think he played this awfully. I think they played it just terribly wrong. And the sports information director at the time was on the football side of things. I think they all messed it up. I really do. It wasn't Jerry, and they hit him, is what they did. Like, they hit him, and you couldn't talk to him, and all of these things. And James has told these stories when they would talk to, like, ESPN, like, they'd put him and Freeman in the room to talk along with him. They babied him, is what they did. And they were so fearful that they purely kept him on locks. And they did that crazy thing in the Fiesta Bowl where they didn't make him available to the media because they started Todd, who, by the way, the previous year was a first-team All-Big Ten quarterback. And so they started Todd against Texas at quarterback, even though he hadn't started since the USC game. And they started him so that Terrell wouldn't face the media. And even I think they just did him. I think he had a lot of challenges to him personally, and I think he would admit to those things, but also the handling of him here was one that was a misstep, because it was one of those things where just tear the Band-Aid off and then it won't be such a big deal. And instead their tact with it was hide. Guys, they would send out Todd Beckman after every game because he was a captain. Even when he wasn't starting, he would have to answer questions post-game. Todd did. They'd put him at the dais with Threes and Freeman, and they'd put him at the dais, and there was Todd, and he'd have to answer questions about the offense that he didn't play because they wouldn't. And Prior, I mean, that's what was going on. It was nuts, truly. But he's the answer. Because he was. I mean, we thought he was the LeBron James of high school football. Is what we thought he was. I mean, we thought minimum you're getting Vince Young.
Wasn't he like a top 100 basketball recruit too?
He was. Yeah, I could be wrong on this, but for some reason I remember looking at the Rivals rankings, and I want to say he was like 54th in the country in hoops.
It's pretty good.
But it was similar. I mean, Jeanette was a relative, if memory serves, and I'll have Pennsylvania people who correct me if I'm wrong on this, but he was somebody who. Jeanette was a relatively smaller. I don't think it was like Division I or something like, or whatever the conversation around that was. I can't remember. But yeah, he's probably the answer. We've had other ones. Jeremiah was one that you started to get whispers. I mean, I wasn't here for Claret, but I wonder, like, when those whispers started. Like, was there a time like in camp where that was like, oh, we got one here? I mean, he was unveiled to the nation, but in that first game. But was there a time in camp where it was like, yeah, this is, because he was a 5-star.
So I don't remember. I think you kind of started to hear, like, as the season got closer, that he was going to be the starting running back. But I don't remember a ton of hype for Claret. Yeah. Like, I was trying to think about that, and I don't remember, like, oh, yeah, we got this guy, and he's going to be a star.
Well, that class, I was in Tallahassee at the time. That Ohio State class was Tressel's, like, first, and it was loaded.
Well, and
that's Bob and AJ and Claret, and Mike DeAndrea was the 5-star kid out of Avon Lake.
And that's what I was going to say from that class. What I remember the most is people talking about that group of linebackers. And it wasn't Bobby and AJ they were talking about. It was Mike DeAndrea and how this guy's the next star at linebacker. Because I believe he was, 6'5", 230 pounds,
massive,
and could run like the wind. And yeah, but I remember that class specifically, them thinking about or talking about the linebackers. And was Zwick in that class too?
Zwick was in that class.
Zwick
and
was
Troy.
a big time. Zwick was a big time talk about like, oh, this guy up in Massillon, he's going to be the next thing at quarterback.
Well, he was a Massillon kid who was in Sports Illustrated while he was at Massillon. So there was that part of it too. But yeah, those are those massive hype things. Braxton kind of came in under the radar a little bit. I mean, we certainly knew him in Ohio high school circles. We're very well aware of him. But that was such a mess because it was the transition from, it was the Tatgate stuff and it was going into FIC and it was all of the mess that was that first year here. So that one had a little bit of a different feel to it. But yeah, I mean, there are guys. I'll tell you another one that was the first time you saw him and you just couldn't wait was Chase Young, because he looked like an NFL defensive end when he walked on campus. Nick Bosa had a little of that too, because you had seen it from Joey. So it was like so you knew what he was capable of because you saw what Joey was capable of, and people were saying, well, he might be better than Big Brother, and you're like, that doesn't seem possible. So there's some of those cats that are out there. But yeah, it's usually the quarterback hype train that's the wild one. And it's really remarkable Pryor had the career that he had. And imagine what it would have looked like if we live in an NIL world and he just plays his senior year. Because he's undefeated in BCS games as the quarterback. In the games that he started, they beat Oregon and they beat Arkansas. In that one, they lost to Texas when he was a freshman, but he won the other two, and I think he was the MVP of both of them. So he was coming back with all of that talent. Ask DeVere about it. I mean, he knows. DeVere lived it. I have so much respect for DeVere for what he did that year. Sitting out all those games and then finally being able to play. So much respect. So those are the things that when you think about that hype, I think the correct answer around here is Pryor. It was nuts. There's probably a Schleister argument for people that go way back. Maybe there's a Chris Carter. The other one is
Orlando Pace.
Or Pace. And Robert Smith. A lot of people in Northeast Ohio will say Robert Smith's the best high school football player the state of Ohio has ever produced. A lot of people will say that. And I'm sure there's an incredible amount of hype for that. The free agency frenzy is cooked. The Jackets have been busy, but perhaps leave you a little underwhelmed. We'll have Porty on in 2 minutes to explain exactly what happened or didn't happen. That's in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Cool cars, cool people, good times. It's the biggest and best hot rodding event of the year. The Good Guys 27th Summit Racing Nationals presented by PPG. July 11th through the 13th at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Over 6,000 classics from across the USA. Shop the swap meet at Huge Fender Midway. See which rides take home the crown of the 2025 Classic Instrument Street Rods. And PPG Street Machine of the Year. July 11th through the 13th at the Ohio Expo Center. Details at good-guys.com.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Got one of those days that never stops? Try a stop at Speedway and refresh the vibe with 69-cent large Big Gulp drinks. Get 69-cent large Big Gulp drinks at Speedway with Speedy Rewards. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 8/26/25. See app for full terms.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's get smarter on the Jacket side of things. We've had a draft, we had a free agency frenzy, and we've got a camp that starts today. and runs through Saturday. He's Aaron Portzline of The Athletic, great friend of the program. Buddy, thanks for the time. How close do you think what was accomplished was to what they wanted to accomplish this offseason?
Not even in the same Milky Way, not even in the same stratosphere, I don't think. I think the market caught him by surprise how few players became available with this new cap space. A lot of people were hanging on to their guys. And you know what, I think we didn't realize it quite so clearly at the time, but the attempt to get Noah Dobson, the offensive defenseman who went from the Islanders to Montreal, was really telling in a couple of ways. The first, that the picks were not enough. You wondered, these were so-so picks, 14 and 20, in a so-so draft, and how much did those move the needle? They're attractive, but you're not desperate to get them, and they did, in fact, have to sweeten them, and they didn't get it done because of the second part of this, which is Columbus is no longer a team that players fear going to. It's not seen as a place you want to avoid at all costs at all. It's seen as a pretty good spot now, but it is not an attraction, and it's not unless you have some sort of connection to it. So the kid that Noah Dobson that went to Montreal is from Prince Edward Island, Canada, pretty close to home, about as close as home as you can get. And the other guys that they would have taken a run at, Mitch Marner, if he would have looked their way, they would have done everything they had on the table. All he wanted to do was get to Vegas. Rasmus Anderson, the other right side defenseman that the Blue Jackets were connected to in Calgary, he's still with Calgary because he's not doing a sign and trade unless it's Vegas. Vegas is a place people want to be. Florida is a place people want to be. The Panthers, and Columbus is no longer a place you wish to avoid, but it is not a place that players are going out of their way to get to.
Yeah, that's the reality of it, and you got to own it, right? Boy, there's a bitterness, and I don't blame Jackets fans for having it. Obviously, Florida's been around a long time, but this lottery ticket that was cashed in Vegas, it's a painful thing to watch. I mean, they've already won the Cup, and now they're able to get Marner, and everybody wants to play there. I get it. The weather's great. No state tax. I certainly understand it, but my goodness, did they give them too many advantages, Porty?
And the other thing, too, is I look at that, and that's a damn talented team. Mm-hmm. But it just seems like every summer they want the shiny toy.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're building exactly, but whatever it is, the biggest and the best, it's so Vegas. It is so Vegas. I have no idea what's going on in that town half the time. But if it's bright and it's loud and it's the shiny toy that everybody wants, they want it, and they'll figure everything else out after the fact.
Yeah, it's wild. Use the word desperate in your first answer. 7 years, 59.5, 8.5. That's a steep price, obviously. What do you make of that deal for Provorov?
Well, look, I think Provorov and his agent, Mark Andler, played this thing to perfection. And maybe what the Blue Jackets and other teams did not understand about the market this year, they did. So they wanted a long-term deal with the Blue Jackets last March at the trade deadline. The Blue Jackets were not willing to go there. They held on to him because they were still in the playoff race. But, boy, when this market fizzled, when Dobson went to Montreal, when Anderson appeared parked in Calgary, and the options became really, really limited.
Do we lose Porty there?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Okay. All right. We'll see if we can get him on. But this speaks to what's something Bake said earlier in terms of, just kind of that desperation part of it when you're talking about what happened with Provorov. And they basically, you read what Porty has to say about it, and I'm sure what he's going to continue to expound upon there is you got in a position where you couldn't let him leave. There was nobody to replace him. And so you do what you do here, and he'll be happy, and he's going to play 20 minutes on the ice and all of those things. But it is a steep price to pay, obviously, for Provorov and what he can do. And I also think that first answer for Porty was pretty enlightening when you think about this notion of this market just wasn't what they thought it would be. Porty, I think we have you back. Go ahead with your Provorov opinion there.
Yeah. Sorry. Just when the market started to thin out, when Dobson moved, when when Rasmus Anderson's desires became known and the options got really, really limited. Well, then the Blue Jackets, who were kind of, I don't want to say stringing along Provorov, but there really weren't significant conversations for the longest time. Then it became a desperate situation because if you're not getting the guys that are on the market that can change your look, you better circle back and get the guys without letting them go. Like you better have competent, decent, really good players there. But then Provorov is in the driver's seat. And what would have been a smaller contract, I'm sure the demands went way, way up. He's got signing bonuses, no move clause, all of that sort of stuff, and a big ticket.
Porty, in terms of the guys who left, Danforth, Corrali, Van Riemsdyk, what was the attempt to bring those guys back, and were there any they wish they could have?
The sense I get is that Danforth is the guy they wanted to bring back. They saw him as their fourth line center. And when he left, I think he wanted more term than money. When he left is why they signed Isaac Lundestrom yesterday, because they needed another centerman. I think, to my understanding, there was no attempt to bring Corrali back, and I don't think there was much of an attempt to bring Van Riemsdyk back either. And Corrali gets a couple of years and pretty good cash. The Van Riemsdyk one, I kind of shake my head at, because he got another 1 year, $1 million from the Red Wings. That was 16 goals. Valuable player in the room. That's a guy at that price, anyways, I certainly would have considered hanging on to.
Okay, so then from the fan perspective, if you are to have an improved hockey team next year, it's going to have to come from within in a very, very big way. We've spent all of this time talking, and nothing really. The other thing that really didn't get addressed was goaltending. What is the plan there, and is there anything other than the folks who are here to man that ship?
Well, to me, this is the biggest issue coming out of this offseason is the fact that Elvis Merzlikins appears to be, at least on paper, still the number one goalie here. That surprises me. And Jet Greaves was a great story at the end of last season. Perhaps it's a timeshare. Maybe Jet Greaves can claim this as the number one spot, but that, to me, I was a little surprised, frankly, when I didn't think there was a trademark there. I kept hearing that there was some interest, that there was a possibility of moving him. Maybe it was to Anaheim, who took on the Peter Mrazek contract from Detroit to send John Gibson to the Red Wings. That's the trade that maybe the Blue Jackets could have made. The difference there is Elvis has the second year, and Mrazek just had 1 year remaining. Surprised that once that passed, that they did not buy out the contract, and the top free agent signed with the Devils yesterday to stay there. There were a couple other guys, but my sense is they're looking for a 2-3 goalie, a goalie that can play in Cleveland and could be a backup in Columbus as needed. But barring a major unforeseen trade now at this point, it looks like it's going to be Merzlikins and Greaves as the 1-2 in Columbus.
Wow. All right. So, and you go into developmental camp, which starts today.
Yep.
What as you sit here, and it's July 2nd, so things can change between now and the start of the season. How do you view this franchise? What is an expectation right now? And again, we're 2 months out, but what is an expectation of what can happen on the ice?
Yeah, well, I think we have to be careful here, because the disappointment really is that I think the sense for many is that there was an overpromise and an underdeliver, which is kind of the worst thing. The worst thing a GM or a team can do in a summer. And so, I mean, this is still largely the same team that overperformed last year, at least would seem to overperform. They are better, I do think, with Charlie Coyle in the mix. That's a very impressive veteran player. I like Miles Wood a lot if he can get back to where he was. So I don't think this is a situation where they're worse by any means. I do think the young guys are going to get better. I think it should be a competitive team. And the thing that when the GM starts to say this, you know that he's not getting done what he wants to get done. It never stops the opportunities to make your team better. So far into this offseason, they could do something. Early next season could be a trade. You got the trade deadline. this is very much a work in progress. This is still a team that's kind of at the beginning of its arc. But I think if you came into this summer expecting them to still rely on their youth to grow, you'd probably be like, okay, let's go. This is where it is. And they added Coyle, but you're expecting, a top 6, a top 4, a new goalie, and it doesn't look like any of that's going to arrive.
You're the best, buddy. Thanks for your time as always.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
There he goes, the great Aaron Portzline of The Athletic, joining us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We'll do a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Scotty Vegas here. We all know that summer's the easiest season for weight loss. Warm weather, lighter meals, being outside. Our bodies are primed to succeed, and Awaken 180 has your game plan. Reach your goals this summer with Awaken 180, the official weight loss program of summer. 1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
The Columbus Zoo invites you to follow the footsteps and the tales of animals from around the world. Explore our newest region, North America Trek. So what are you waiting for? Get your tail to our trails only at your Columbus Zoo.
Your bathroom's got to go, the vanity's decayed, and toilet's really old. The bathtub's giving way. Give Baths R Us a ring. Call morning, noon, or night. You do not have to wait to get your bathroom right.
Call Baths R Us for your free estimate and enter to win our Christmas in July $12,500 bathroom remodel with an additional savings of up to $3,000 plus low to no monthly payments. 380-225-2284. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Hear that? That's the sound of freedom. This July, declare your independence on the open road during RCD RV's Declare Your Independence sale, running July 5th through the 19th, offering all-American savings on all in-stock motorhomes, fifth wheels, and travel trailers. Wave goodbye to ordinary vacations and say hello to adventure. Stop by any of our locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online anytime at rcdrv.com. Celebrate the red, white, and blue with unbeatable savings at RCD RV. RCD RV. Freedom starts on the open road.
We at The Fan have created a show where you can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Your family may not listen to you, but we will. Sundays at 11, it's The Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. You're welcome.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to sponsor The Fan and 10 TV's Beat the Heat Fan Drive, benefiting Life Care Alliance. You can help Ohio's most vulnerable residents deal with the extreme heat this summer. How can you help? Purchase new box fans and bring them to the nearest Franklin County Fire Station, or you can buy online and ship fans directly to Life Care Alliance. The collection and distribution of fans is to assist residents who are at risk of heat stroke or heat exhaustion. For more information, go to lifecarealliance.org.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio.
Right now, save up to $494 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a first Friday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
All right, so we talked a little bit about this earlier in the program, but the Indiana Fever, without Caitlyn Clark last night, beat the Minnesota Lynx 74-59 in the finals of the WNBA's Commissioner Cup. For whatever that's worth. But before the game, Fever guard Sophie Cunningham had this to say about NBA expansion.
I do think that Miami would have been a great one. Like, everyone loves Florida. Nashville is an amazing city. Kansas City, amazing opportunity. There's a huge arena downtown that no one's using. And I think that the Women's Soccer League is showing that, like, people draw, you know? And so I'm not so sure what the thought process is there. But, man, I don't know how excited people are to be going to Detroit or Cincinnati.
So if you didn't hear the last part of it, she said, I don't know how excited people are to be going to Detroit or Cincinnati. Now, I think she does mean Cleveland, but thing or not a thing?
I think when you hear it, I know that everyone wants to get, well, let's go fight her. Like, we love it here, blah, blah, blah. I think where she's going with it is, why are we married to NBA towns? Like, I think where she's saying is there are places without where this would benefit. And in a way, it goes back to my argument that I made, I think, yesterday, that I do think Columbus would have been a better spot for a WNBA franchise than Cleveland. I think it would have been much easier to be supported here. You have the natural lineage with Ohio State, where you could have former Ohio State players. 1 or 2 of them could come in here and play, and all of that feels like kind of a layup. And we don't have Major League Baseball in the summer that draws 35,000 people every night. So I think that part of it is true in that. Now, no, Miami's not going to care. They don't care about the Heat, let alone the Dolphins. Like,
it's a Panthers town.
Yeah, the weather's too good, man. So too much to do outside. Nashville's an interesting one, and that's certainly become a very glamorous spot. But my hunch is that's what she's referring to there, is that part of it. I know that it was taken as like a shot at, Cleveland or Detroit or whatever, and that's easy. But I think probably what she's saying is a little bit bigger picture, which is like we should have thought a little bit outside the box.
So I'm not sure she's totally saying that, because she did mention Miami, and they already have a team, obviously. So I think she's talking about places that they may rather go. I just think it's interesting that she's shading Detroit and Cleveland while she plays in Indy. And, while Indy, as you say, Bo, is set up to host things, I don't know how many people are going to Indy for vacation, like Cleveland or Detroit. So I think that's the thing there is you play in Indianapolis, there's not much difference.
I will say this. She is an attractive, wealthy young person. And I think attractive, wealthy young people only go to like 6 cities. New York City, L.A., Miami, Nashville, and maybe Austin.
Las Vegas, maybe.
Las Vegas, maybe. List, but, she obviously plays in Indiana, but I would be very shocked if she owned anything significant in Indianapolis for her to live at.
My hunch is, and I think she's from Missouri, which is probably how Kansas City came up, because I think she played at the University of Missouri. She's had herself a month. I mean, she's the one who took out J.C. Sheldon, and then that led to that. And then I want to say I read that her Instagram following went to over 1 million, like right away. So yeah, she's had a good month.
Just real quick on last night's Commissioner's Cup final during the halftime show. I don't know if you've seen the video, but Red Panda took a tumble before she could even get into her first full routine. She lost her balance, fell to the court. She was clutching her wrist in pain, was attended to by medical personnel. She was taken off the court in a wheelchair. We do not have an update, but we will try to effort that for you by the end of the program. It's obviously a huge thing. Pittsburgh Pirates ace Paul Skenes was spotted last night going out onto the field with the grounds crew before his start against the Cardinals. Skenes reportedly spent at least 15 to 20 minutes shooting the breeze with the crew. He then proceeded to strike out 5 Cardinals in 5 innings of work, surrendering 5 hits, but 0 runs. Pittsburgh shut out St. Louis 1-0. After the game, Noah Hiles from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette asked Skenes about the pregame meandering. This was from Noah. Followed up on this, Paul said he was out there because he was bored. Added he would love to cut grass professionally whenever his baseball days are over. Thing or not a thing?
It's all a thing. He's a different dude, man. Just across the board, he's a different cat. And intellectually, he's got to be elite because he got into Air Force to fly jets. So intellectually, he's got to be off the charts to be able to pull that off. I also saw that he's like the first player in Major League history with at this point in his year with an ERA like 2.08 or lower with 4 wins. It's one of those Elias stats that's crazy. But I think this is going to be all of this is a thing. And I do think that watching how this transpires over the next couple of years with him and them is going to be fascinating because he's the best pitcher in baseball, and he's not going to have much impact there. And I do think, and we talked about this about a month ago, they might benefit from getting the haul because I don't know how their system. Who knows? I'm not paying attention to baseball that closely, but like, is it something where right now, if you trade him, what you get back would reshape your entire franchise?
Conspiracy theorist me says, Paul Skenes doesn't really like his teammates and doesn't want to hang out with them.
Yeah.
Knows he's on the way out. But I think I think Paul Skenes is just a good dude, right? And he, being friends with everybody that works for the team. And you have guys that do that. They become friends with the trainers or equipment managers or the grounds crew guys. And I think that's just what Paul Skenes is. He's just a really good dude and just likes hanging out with these guys. Also, I mean, his life after baseball is set, right? The Skenes done landscaping. I mean, make millions, I'm sure.
One year, Livy riding around riding lawnmowers.
I mean, you get like either a little sidecar or.
Listen, depending on what she's wearing, I'm guessing there's a lot of people that would pay lots of money just for that.
Good price on that, yeah.
1 year after announcing his retirement from the NFL, Darren Waller is returning to the league with the Miami Dolphins. Yeah. Waller is still under contract with the New York Giants. He had 3 years on his deal before retiring. The Dolphins are going to be trading a 2026 6th-rounder to the Giants for the tight end, along with a 2027 conditional 7th-round draft pick. The 32-year-old Waller has agreed to a new contract with Miami for 1 year, worth up to $5 million. Thing or not a thing?
Not a thing from an NFL perspective. I think I'm not sure exactly what Miami's doing. In terms of what they're doing in their roster. It feels to me like they're punting a little bit on this season. As you mentioned, he's 32 years old. I mean, what's left in the tank? It's a 6th-round pick, not much of a get back. So I'm going to say not a thing on that side of things. But isn't he the guy who, wasn't he married to Kelsey Plum?
Correct.
He fumbled that bag.
That's a big bag to fumble there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this is much of a thing because he kind of had those issues with her, and it seemed like that affected him on the playing field. Then all of a sudden he wanted to become a rapper, and he was worried about his music career. And listen, we've seen guys that retire and then come back, and it usually doesn't really work for them. There may be a moment or two, but on a whole, it just doesn't work out. So this is not a thing for me. Low risk for Miami, right? But I don't see a lot of reward.
No, I'm probably with you on that. We've got another family of 4-pack of tickets to give away. We're going to go 821-9710 is the number. This is the Cardale Jones Celebrity Softball Game tickets. The winner gets that family 4-pack of tickets to the Cardale Jones Charity Softball Game. It is Saturday, July 19th, Huntington Park, Team Cardale, Team Braxton. If you aren't the winner, don't worry. Tickets can be purchased for $10 at BuckeyeCruise.com. Let's go 12th winner here in honor of 12th caller, rather, in honor of Cardale. So you can scoop those up at 821-9710. It is a Hey Guys First Friday. We do that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
The champs are back. Ohio State football returns to the Shoe this fall with powerhouse matchups against Texas, Penn State, and more. Your Buckeye Saturdays begin at OhioStateBuckeyes.com, where you can grab single game tickets that are on sale now. Gear up and get ready for game day.
Hey, it's Anthony. I actually enjoy the off-season. Gives me a chance to be really active, travel, be on the move. But when my back started giving me pain, I wasn't going to just deal with it this time. I went to the Good Feet store. Their personally fit arch supports got my feet into their ideal alignment, and I could already feel the difference in my back immediately. And they educated me. I had no clue we actually have several arches under our feet, and those cushy over-the-counter insoles were not going to do the trick. So many people suffering with pain can benefit from their system. People with pain in their feet, ankles, lower legs, knees, hips, and more. I've been wearing my personally fit arch supports for a while now, and they've given me the motivation and confidence to be as active as I want to be. The Good Feet store thrives on being solution-oriented. Go in. The fitting is free. They want you to try them in the store and feel them for yourself. So get back to living the life you love with the Good Feet store. They're on Stringtown Road in Grove City and on Polaris Parkway. Or check them out at goodfeet.com.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Aaron, guess what we're getting ready to celebrate?
America's birthday?
That's right. How did you guess?
Well, you're dressed like Yankee Doodle, and you're wearing a tri-corner hat, and you've got a snare drum.
Get Eco. G-E-T-E-C-O. Get Eco. They can really go. Get Eco. For your Cinco. Fix and a Blinko. You'll think-o. Hooray. Get Eco. G-E-T-E-C-O. Get Eco. You'll be cool like snow. Get Eco. Like an ice Ringo. Puerto Rico. Get Eco today. Huh? What do you think?
Jerry, are you suggesting that Puerto Rico become the 51st state?
I could invent a brand new 51-star flag.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Have a safe 4th of July, everyone.
Central Ohio contractors and homeowners. Tired of overpriced, low-quality cabinets? Well, it's time to upgrade your cabinet game. 3D Cabinetry is your go-to for fast, hassle-free service and cabinets you can trust from order to install. 3D Cabinetry delivers fully assembled all-wood affordable cabinets. No delays, no stress. Just quality craftsmanship delivered on time every time. Get started with your free consultation today at 3dcabinetry.net. That's 3dcabinetry.net, where quality meets affordability and reliability.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait one sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
He shoots, he scores! It's a great time of year to be a fan, but the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. Maryhaven is here to help with in-person, virtual, and group options. Learn more at maryhaven.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The future of the Blue Jackets is in Columbus today for the team's annual prospect development camp that runs through Sunday. It'll feature the Blue Jackets draft class of 2025, as well as Caden Lindstrom, the 4th overall pick in 2024. In baseball, the Reds and Red Sox are going to make up last night's rain out today around 2:25. Boston led 2-1 in the 4th. You can hear that game over on ESPN Columbus. Both teams are then going to play the finale at Fenway. That's a 3-game set tonight at 7:10. You can hear that one on the Fan following the Buckeye Show. As for the Guardians, Cleveland dropped their 5th straight, a 5-2 loss to the Cubs at Wrigley. They're 3 games under 500. They're going to look to halt that slide against the Cubs tonight at 8 o'clock. And in soccer, Team USA plays Guatemala tonight in a CONCACAF Gold Cup semifinal match. Kickoff from St. Louis is 7 o'clock. Winner gets either Mexico or Honduras Sunday in the final. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a First Friday. Let's kick it off with a little hey, guys.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag #HeyGuys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
All right, winner here gets the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank. You get the distillery tour and tasting as well. 3 years running, best blended whiskey in America. Go ahead, Reese.
We'll start it off with Phil in the YouTube chat who asks, hey guys, in your prime, do you think you could score a point against LeBron, outputt Scottie Scheffler on a green, or gain a yard on a handoff in an NFL game?
I think I would be most likely to hit a shot against LeBron, but all of this would depend on the effort that the other side is giving. The outputting Scottie Scheffler would just be luck. If you just, you're not going to be, so that's just completely luck. The 1 yard in an NFL game would be entirely dependent on how much the opposing defense was geared up to stop you. Like if you told the opposing defense, if he gets 1 yard, you're all fired. Like if they played that hard. The 1 yard one's interesting. And I guess the same thing would be true of LeBron though, right? Like if he was like locked in to guard you, there's no way even the greatest fall away, fade away thing ever, he's going to be able to get reach on. That's the football one might be because if you just got like behind Joe Thomas, could you pick up a yard? Maybe that's the one that gives you the best chance.
We've got to expect full effort here, right? This is all full on effort. In my prime, I loved playing basketball. That was probably my go-to in my youth. I'd like to think I could trick LeBron and maybe put one in, but I'm a pretty big guy, wide shoulders, and I was decently fast back in the day, so I'm going, I could get a yard. Yeah, I could get a yard in it. I'm pretty sure I could do that.
Of the three of us, you'd have the best chance to get a yard in the NFL. I'm going with the Scheffler putt just because it would be, and none of these I could do. Like I would be Thanos snapped out of existence if you were telling me to gain a yard, but I am a small human. And I cannot jump or shoot.
You just need a couple of blocks.
Yeah, well,
if I can get you to run behind like Batonio and Thomas.
Can I get a 5-yard head start before getting the handoff?
Run left. Well, you will. You're going to take it from the eye back position. So, the engage. I think the right answer for me would be the hoops, but I think I could get it. I think you'd get a yard. 5 would be different. Like, could you get 5? No chance. But a single yard with good blocking up front, I think I might.
Brian asks on Twitter, hey guys, what's the best thing about the 4th? Fireworks, grilling out, parade, or other? He also adds that he's surprised I'm not working from my parade setup in UA. Well, that comes tomorrow, Brian.
I don't know. 4th of July fireworks on a nice summer night are pretty undefeated. They're pretty good. You're tipping back a cold one or perhaps something with a little ice in it. It's jingling around a little bit, and you're watching the fireworks, and it's America at its finest. That's pretty damn good. I think that the one thing I always push back on the grilling, my wife's always like, why don't you just grill hot dogs and hamburgers or whatever? I'm like, because it's really a pain in the neck. Because everything cooks at all sorts of different spaces, and when you're cooking for a bunch of people, the grill at times can be difficult to do. So I don't particularly like that part of it, but I do enjoy the other ones a great deal. And I think a good 4th of July parade's pretty undefeated.
I think the best thing about it is just like the freedom, right? Like you got a day, you can do whatever. You know, you pool party it up. You can have the backyard barbecue, whatever it is. I will say this. So where my buddy's parents' house was, where they used to shoot off the Grove City fireworks, was at Beulah Park, which is no longer there. It's all houses now. But where their house was, you could literally float on a raft in the pool and watch the fireworks. That was undefeated.
That's pretty good stuff.
That's a heck of a set. I mean, it's parades for me. If it's the UA 4th of July parade or the Doodah parade, both of those undefeated. This from YouTuber Dakota. Hey, guys, what's the worst combo sports fan you've come across? His example is here in Dayton, there's two. Browns-Reds fan, an Ohio State football fan.
Well,
let me finish. Because also Browns-Reds fan, but Ohio State football fan / Kentucky basketball fan.
Yeah, that's NBC right there, the 13-year-old. That's his.
Baker's the Browns-Reds fan.
Yeah.
It's hurtful.
The worst!
So I have a totally different view of this because of where I grew up. So you didn't have to have loyalty to anybody. You weren't going to games. It's a long, long ways to any of the most closest places. My hunch is, though, that like some combination of Lakers, Cowboys, Yankees, Buckeyes, Kentucky football would probably be the one that would be the most. Basically, LeBron growing up would probably be the most annoying. Like a Yankees, Cowboys, Lakers fan, that would be a tough nut to crack there.
So let me stick up here real quick.
Yeah, defend yourself and your honor.
For the Browns-Reds fans. Now, this was passed down from my father, who got it from his father. And there were no Bengals when my grandfather was a sports fan in Ohio, in Columbus back in the day. So if he was a baseball fan, he loved the Reds, but there was no Cincinnati football team. So he had to root for the Browns if he wanted an Ohio team. So I don't like that. That's not fair. That's a cheap shot.
You just described that as if it was like a degenerative condition that's passed down genetically.
It is.
There's no cure for it.
There's no getting out of this.
Yeah.
This was passed down.
So I will tell you, the absolute worst combo fan for me is a Michigan fan and a Steelers fan. That's the absolute worst. They're both just insufferable to me. But the one you mentioned, Bo, that I was going to as well, Lakers, Cowboys fans, because you're just a bandwagon. That's all you are right there, is you just jumped on because you thought it was cool. And
you know what, though? Is being a Cowboys fan anymore a bandwagon?
Not now, but back
when
in
we were kids,
90s, the 80s and 90s.
But like, now it's a choice. Like, I don't think they are America's team anymore. I really don't. Like, they haven't won anything since '95. I mean, that's 30 years, boys.
Sorry, Bodie Wells.
Sorry, Bodie Wells is who you hate.
Sorry, Panama
Cowboys,
Tad.
Irish. I do think I remember doing something with former Dispatch writer, wrote for The Athletic too, Tom Reed, about how at the time when the Haslams bought the Browns, like they kind of viewed Columbus as like free agency. And when you are a kid growing up here, like if you are somebody who whose parents are not from Southwest Ohio or Northeast Ohio, you're kind of a free agent. Because it's all a drive. Like whether you go to Cincinnati or you go to Cleveland, you can go to Pittsburgh, you go to Indy. Like should a kid growing up here who has no ties, who has no family ties to any of those parts, should that kid have to like those two teams, or can he like anyone?
And Bo, what you mentioned, it is genetic. Do you think I like being a Reds or Browns fan? I hate it. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
I just have to say this. The Ohio State fan that's also a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, not from Pittsburgh, can go to hell. All right, Dustin's got a really important one on the YouTube chat. He asks, hey, guys, dilemma for me. 3-day weekend, no kids. Would you rather take a lazy weekend and beat the heat or get out and celebrate? He says he's always working and it's outdoors in all the elements.
He's outdoors in all the elements. I would do, first of all, I'm not sure what I would do with myself. It would probably be a lot of like the Pablo Escobar on the swing, like just looking around for something. Where is everybody? But if that did happen, I would probably do a combination of both. Here's some things that I like to do on my own. I like to go to a really nice restaurant and eat at the bar and watch sports. Like, I like to have a steak prepared for me while I sit at a bar and watch sports. That would be something that I would love to do. I would probably play golf. I would probably have a mix of doing whatever the blank I wanted for just that amount of time and answering to no one, which I don't answer to anybody, but you have a billion responsibilities with family, and that's, I don't regret any of it, but that's part of it. So, like, to be free of that, I would probably do that.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the 3-day weekend, right? With kids or without kids. You can have the relaxing day. You can have a day where you go have the barbecue or party it up a little bit, watch the fireworks. You can have a day where you catch up on things around the house. You can do all kinds of things with a 3-day weekend. So I think that's the appropriate answer, Bo, is you just do a little mix of all of it.
Maybe get to Bed Bath & Beyond. You don't know if you'll have time.
A big weekend.
Ignorant Eric's just got to ask the question, when you have weekends like that, Bo, are you given a list of things that you must accomplish before everybody returns?
No. Okay. No, and I don't think, I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't had a weekend like that since we've had kids. I've probably had a day or two like that. Like, sometimes they'll run up to the lake in the middle of the week and I'll be here solo. But no, there usually isn't. I mean, I don't know my wife would even have it. I wouldn't even know what she would put on the honey to-do list. And by the way, she's now circumvents me on that list because she has the handyman's phone, so she just goes right to him. And then next thing I know, he's here and he's hanging drapes or whatever. But I usually don't have a list. It's usually a pretty good, like, do whatever you want type situation.
All right, we got to pick a winner.
Good ones today. Any jump out for you guys?
I like Dakota's question about the worst fan base, worst combo fans.
Yeah.
Just because it gave me a chance to tell Steelers fans to go to hell.
That was a good question, but come on, man. That hurts. I take a little offense.
He came at you a little bit there, didn't he, Bake? Yeah, that's fine. Let's go with Dakota. He's the winner of the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank and the distillery tour as well. He's going to learn something on that side of things. We've got a lot to do around the National Football League, and the Steelers have had a very busy week. What all does it garner them in terms of the way they are viewed in the AFC North? We will get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Back to Hollywood Casino Columbus and the ESPN Bet Sportsbook for an all-star game celebration and watch party. When? Tuesday, July 15th. Compete in our home run derby at 7 o'clock for a chance to win an incredible experience at an upcoming Reds game, plus a $250 gift card. So join On the Money's Dave Biddle and me, Scotty Vegas. Compete to win at 7 and enjoy the all-star game at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at 8. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At United Dairy Farmers, Peach is our most popular ice cream. Although it's only here for a short time, we sell more of it than any other flavor. And once you taste it, you'll know why it wins the popularity contest. We make it from scratch by mixing in the juice from our hand-selected peaches and big chunks of fruit. That's what gives it that unique peachier flavor. And that might also explain why peach season at UDF doesn't last long. UDF Peach Ice Cream, made for you.
When it comes to home improvement, you've probably asked yourself a few key questions. Is the salesperson trustworthy? Will the company follow through on their promises? And is the work going to be a lasting solution, not just a quick fix? At Newman Roofing, we get it. As a locally based, family-owned company, we know how hard it can be to find a contractor you can truly trust. For over 33 years, we've been providing homeowners across Central Ohio with reliable roofing solutions done right the first time. When you choose Newman Roofing, you'll be greeted by value-driven professionals in clean company vehicles and crisp uniforms who show up with a smile and take the time to answer your questions. Because for us, it's not just about the roof. It's about protecting your home, your family, and the trust you place in us. If you're thinking about your roof or siding, call the local company that puts integrity first, Newman Roofing. Call today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. fresh for everyone.
Right now, save on USDA Choice T-Bone steaks. Just $9.99 a pound in the value pack with your digital coupon. Limit 5. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Now open at Zoombezi Bay, the all-new conservation tower. It's the only place you'll find the Hive, a world's first water slide with wild 720-degree beehive spin. Muscle Mayhem, a Midwest first with intense drops and twists. And Captina Falls, a head-first racing slide like nothing you've ever seen. 3 slides, 1 tower, endless thrills. Conservation Tower is now open, only at
Zoombezi Bay.
Plan your visit today at ZoombeziBay.com.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Summer is in full swing. If you think you're hot, well, so are your trees. You can help your trees by watering them, especially if they're newly planted. During the hot, dry summer months, your trees could use a water boost. Watering new trees a few times a week will help them survive while they're developing their root system, so don't forget about them. To find out more about watering trees or to find a certified arborist near you, go to treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Nagging aches in your foot or ankle that won't go away? Podiatric physicians can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, or show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and have been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
After quite the rainy Tuesday, we see temperatures today soaring into the upper 80s, matched with plenty of sunshine and light winds. Mostly clear skies tonight with our lows down into the 60s. And then for Thursday, another sunny day ahead with our highs in the upper 80s to low 90s. Might have a stray shower that tries to form out there. Keep an eye out for that. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 weather impact forecast.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yeah, I was thinking in the break about the question about the worst fan. Do you think that there is a responsibility for parents to steer children towards fan bases or teams?
No. Especially not anymore. I mean, I just think hearing so many of your stories of like the kids are going to be fans of players first for the most part.
Hoops especially.
Yeah, like
hoops
it just,
really,
you can. Yeah. No, there's no responsibility, but I also think like 90% of kids, if their parents are watching the Browns on Sundays, good Lord help them, they're probably going to gravitate towards whichever team is watched or on most in the household.
Yeah, I don't think there's a responsibility, so to say, but I do think like my dad, I remember how my dad reacted when the fumble and the drive happened, and it's just kind of ingrained in you. I remember going to Reds games with my dad. Basketball was a little different.
Who did you root for there? Well, Lakers, you said, right?
Yeah, I was a Lakers fan because I loved Magic Johnson. I just loved his personality and the way he played. My dad was more of a Larry Bird guy.
Same.
But I just gravitated towards Magic in the way that he played. I always liked that. So, yeah, I don't think there's any responsibility, but I do think a lot of times that's hard to overcome because, like, it's just what you did when you were younger.
So I think one of the big unless you are, this has been my experience, that your kids tend to like, especially when they're little, they like what you like. They're into what you're into. So they kind of just follow along when they're little, and then they start to gain their own opinions as they age. But you definitely shape them. One thing that is so unique about Central Ohio is the proximity, especially the NFL. To me, and I've said this many times before, there are far more Northeast Ohio expats in Central Ohio than there are any other constituency. I mean, you can just feel it. And I used to have access to all the ratings, so I would see it when we would run Browns games versus Bengals games. The Browns games obviously typically wildly outrated Bengals games, even when the Bengals were, this was before Burrow, but they certainly had Carson Palmer, and they had, Kitna and all, or not Kitna, Andy Dalton, all those guys, and they had teams that were winning divisions, and it was still, and the Browns at that time were wildly incompetent, and the Browns would outrate. But I do think as this city grows, and you have generations of kids who your dad grew up in Central Ohio, you grew up in Central Ohio, and all of a sudden those Northeast Ohio or Southwest Ohio people who have congregated here become less and less, then the kids start to be able to kind of get a clean slate on it. And I do think that the other thing is there's a ton of folks from like that Youngstown area through Wheeling and all of that and south. A lot of those folks moved to Central Ohio too, and that's where that Steelers contingent comes from. There's a big Steelers contingent here. Yeah, I know, but there's a big one. And Matt Barnes, who's an anchor at Channel 4, he's a Central Ohio kid. He likes the Pacers and the Colts. Like, Indy's in play too, if you want it to be. I think the thing that I think is critical is that it has to be in play in order for fandom to really take hold. It has to be in play for you to be able to go to a game. Right? That has to be a carrot that's out there. That no matter what your socioeconomic background is, that at some point, especially where we live, you can get in a car and go to a game. And that's always the thing that was never in play for me as a kid. The closest NFL team to me was Seattle, and it was about 10 hours was the closest. So the closest professional sports team we had was the Calgary Flames, which are 4 hours north. But everything else was 8+ to even be in the vicinity. So you weren't ever going to a game. But I think that's got to be the jumping off point is, can you get in a car and go to a game on a Sunday if you're an NFL fan? If that carrot's out there, then I think it's kind of fair game.
How far was Denver from you?
12.
Okay.
And I think if you can't get
people
to
think
a
it's
game,
close. Like, you just don't
Taylor
realize
Sheridan made it seem just like a 45-minute car ride, and you're in Texas.
My favorite one is when they were rounding up horses on the Milk River, which is in the border of Canada. And by the afternoon, the wife was having a miscarriage in Paradise Valley. That's like an 8-hour drive.
I think if you can't get to a game either, then it's what you see on TV, right?
Yes.
Like, we didn't have a professional hockey team to go to, and in the mid-'90s, the Red Wings were really good, so that was the team that I kind of gravitated towards my hockey fandom, even though it wasn't then what it is now. I was kind of a Red Wings fan. I liked Stevie Y, and I saw them on TV on the weekends when hockey was on. So, and then, of course, when the Blue Jackets came, and as you mentioned, I could go to a game and I could be there. It was all over. I was a Blue Jackets fan. But you've got to say, at least if you can't get to the game, it's what you see on TV then.
Since we're talking about proximity real quick, I did find this question from Cardinal in the YouTube chat. Hey, guys, would you be more hyped for a Final Four or a college football national championship game at the new Cleveland Browns Stadium?
Well, if you can, okay, then the caveat to that would be your teams aren't in it or they're in it.
Let's caveat teams not in it.
Teams not in it, then the Final Four is more fun.
Yeah.
Final Four is a hell of a time.
The Final Four for me, too, and maybe that's just going back to my youth, how much I loved college basketball and loved everything about the tournament. That it would definitely be a Final Four.
Final Fours start on Friday night. Like, it's a doing, man. I mean, it's Friday night. In fact, they actually may start. The shoot-arounds are Friday, so you get into town on Thursday, and then the shoot-arounds are Friday. You play the Final Four games on Saturday. Then Sunday's like a carnival at a Final Four site. I mean, it's basketball. It's like a basketball carnival. And then you have Monday night for the game. So I think that's like a whole weekend. The national championship games that I've been into. So there's an incredible difference between the ones that were BCS national championship games and college football playoff national championship games. The BCS national championship game was awesome. That was awesome. It was like 10 days of hype leading up to it. It was like a bowl. So they would be there for a week and they would do all of the stuff and do all of the things that you do on a bowl game. And so if it's in New Orleans, you'd go to, Cafe Du Monde and eat beignets, and you'd go to, Commander's Palace and eat the soup, and you do all of these things, and you do them with the team, and the team would do all of this outreach and practices, and that's really cool. Like a traditional bowl game is pretty cool, not just for the media, but for the fans and the players. Like every practice is open to the media, so you can watch the team play, like all of that stuff. Conversely, when it went to a college football playoff model, the national championship game almost kind of felt like in a way, it kind of just felt like a massive regular season game. Because that wasn't even with, I didn't do the one last year with a 12-team playoff. I just did the one with, you win the semifinal game and you play for the national title, and it was in New Orleans against Bama, and then it was in Dallas against Oregon. But like by the time we got to Oregon, it was like, wow, we just did all of this in New Orleans, and now we're kind of doing it all over again. And it does feel, and I know Paul said this too, it does feel like you're kind of in your own little college football bubble. That it's a really big deal for the people who are there, but if you don't have one of the teams in the big dance, that it's kind of forgotten by and gets swallowed up by the NFL. And I assume it's even more now with the 12-team playoff, where, they would remember those ridiculous trophies? They'd give Ryan this ridiculous trophy for winning the Rose Bowl or winning where did they even play Texas? Was that in Georgia?
Cotton Bowl.
Was that Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So and then here's the Cotton Bowl trophy, and Ryan's like, yeah, okay, but I got another game.
What do I do with this?
Like, what am I supposed to do with this thing? So I think that the college football national championship game, if your team's not in it, it probably almost feels like just a big regular season game. Whereas the Final Four is...
It'd be even cool if, like, in the same year, Columbus could get a first round or a first weekend, and then you do the Final Four national championship up I-71.
Oh, yeah.
Because Nationwide Arena, it's so much fun to watch first round games.
It's the best. Here's the thing: when that arena goes up there, you're going to have because this is Nationwide is better. It's the best arena in the area. It's better than Paints in Pittsburgh. It's better than Rocket Mortgage. It's better. Conseco's really good. Conseco's really good for basketball. They built it for basketball, so it's straight up. But Nationwide is right there. I would put it up against any venue in the country when it comes to multi-purpose basketball, hockey, whatever. I think it's on that level, and I think you could see that, Reese. You could see a situation where you play a first round game here, and then first two rounds here, and then inevitably the Final Four's up in Cleveland. But I do think to kind of put a ribbon on this fandom conversation, and I'm sure it was damn annoying to have Steelers fans, especially when you guys were young, because they won a lot and won some Super Bowls, and you're going, well, you're not from Pittsburgh, and the reality is it's not that much further to go to a game over there than it is to go to a game at one of the other two places. So there is some freedom here in your fandom that maybe isn't that way in other parts of the state. Speaking of the Steelers, crazy last couple of weeks for them, made even more crazy this week with the trade of Meek and Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey. Jonnu Smith comes in as well, but still no news on TJ Watt getting a deal done, and now potentially he could be traded. We'll get some perspective on all of that and where the Steelers view themselves in an AFC North that is flat out loaded. Noah Strackbein going to join us on that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The champs are back. Ohio State football returns to the Shoe this fall with powerhouse matchups against Texas, Penn State, and more. Your Buckeye Saturdays begin at ohiostatebuckeyes.com, where you can grab single-game tickets that are on sale now. Gear up and get ready for game day.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer? It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Hey, it's Austin Ward here. Did you jump into Awaken 180's Lose 40 by the 4th offer? If you did, wasn't it simple? People think losing weight has to be difficult, but it really isn't if you have the right plan, the right support, and if you're eating to lose weight. If you missed 40 by the 4th, no worries. There's plenty of summer left to hit your goals. Barbecues, golf, pool parties, all included with Awaken 180 weight loss. Start today and start dropping weight your very first week. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Don't sweat it. Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your air conditioner fast. 1-800-COOLING.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's get some perspective on what has been a very busy couple of weeks over in Pittsburgh with the Steelers. Noah Strackbein, our guest here. Steelers on SI and All Steelers Talk on YouTube is where you can find him. We thank him so much for his time. Pretty quiet couple of weeks for you over there, bud.
Yeah, I mean, for June, I don't think it's ever been this quiet ever, actually. I don't know what to do with all my time.
What am I supposed to do with my hands? All right, let's start with the Rodgers thing that had long been rumored, and then inevitably it happened, and then you got your eyes on him at minicamp, and then he had some availability, and now you've had some time to kind of think about that. What was that experience like, and how did it seem to fit him in black and gold?
I mean, to be really honest, it was so natural, and it looked it right from the start. Like, Aaron showed up. And I don't know what I was expecting, but he just looked like a guy who's been here. He looked like a guy that everybody immediately latched onto and felt really good as their quarterback. Seemed to get along with everybody right from the jump. And I don't know. Like, I don't know what my expectations were going into it. I don't know what anybody's expectations were going into it. But the Aaron Rodgers is just a natural leader quarterback. Showed up day one, and you could ask anybody in that locker room, they were immediately pleased to find out how undramatic, I think, the situation was once he showed up.
In terms of and again, it's minicamp, so you can't take much from it. But just in terms of like, what influence will his history have on what Arthur Smith wants to do offensively, if any?
I don't know if it's going to as much as people want to make it out to be. You know, I think it'll be a typical quarterback offensive coordinator relationship where it's Arthur doesn't have a quote unquote offense. It's not Arthur Smith's playbook that he takes everywhere and utilizes everywhere he goes. You know, he's going to sit down and try to develop an offense for the guys that he has and the quarterback that he has, and that's Aaron. So I don't think it's going to be I think it'll be significant, but in a professional way, in a quarterback coach relationship way, not like I'm going out there and I call all the plays and you essentially just look good on camera every Thursday. You know, I think it'll be a little bit more natural than that.
All right, Noah, it's Monday. It's late June, early July. Were there any whispers of this Jalen Ramsey move?
There were no whispers of the move. I'll say that. Like, this caught me as well as everybody else as much of a surprise as I think all the fans, all the media, everybody. There were conversations back in March. You know, there was some whispers of like, if the Steelers got an offer for Minkah, they'd consider it. They understood the price tag that he came with. They understood that he didn't put on the productivity that they've been looking for the last two seasons. And they're not making all these excuses of Minkah's not a good player. They think Minkah's a great player. They just think the price tag was a lot for what they were getting in return. They didn't openly shop him, but they said right from the jump, if he's there, then maybe we'll consider it. The Jalen thing, I mean, they checked in last week. Everybody shut it down, and I said the same. I said it constantly. I said the same thing every day. You're not calling about Jalen Ramsey just to call about Jalen Ramsey. You're not just checking in to say, nah, maybe in a couple months we'll have another phone call. No, you're calling for a reason, and I think maybe Miami presented the offer, and they just said, well, you know, two birds with one stone, and I think that's what they were looking for. So no whispers. Does it surprise me? Yes, but, you know, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so let's go to that part where you say it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, corner versus safety and all of that. But Jalen's a little older, about 2 years older. When you say it makes sense, for those of us who aren't, you know, knee-deep in it like you are daily on the Steelers side of things, why does this make sense for Pittsburgh?
Because it was time for change. Okay. And they had to be aggressive with that change, but it had to be geared towards now. And I think that's why the 2 years doesn't make as much of a difference as people want to say, like, oh, well, Minka's younger. Yeah, but if you get 2 interceptions out of Jalen this season and 0 out of Minka this season, you're happy with that outcome. And the Steelers are looking for that. So they're a Super Bowl ready team now. Now, are they a Super Bowl contender? I think that's a totally different conversation. But they view themselves as all our eggs are in 2025, and we are going to go out there and make every move that we can make to put us in contention today. And they think Jalen is a guy that has enough in the tank this season to be a star. And to them, it just said, okay, this is more splash for a position of, I think, more with more impact than safety. And they wanted to go out and get it. Plus, I think that, again, I don't think that they went to Miami and said, Minka's for sale, what do you want for him? I think Miami said Jalen and Jonnu for Minka, and they said, well, we need a wide receiver too as well. We might as well get a tight end in the meantime. So I think for them, it's just about filling holes. It doesn't matter. They'll figure out the future tomorrow. Today, they want to win a Super Bowl.
Well, you mentioned Jonnu Smith. I mean, that to me, like a glove for Arthur Smith. Obviously, the familiarity's there, but now all of a sudden you have 3, real weapons in kind of two-way guys too. How do you think they will use him? And to me, that feels like kind of a home. I mean, everything was on the Ramsey part, but the Smith thing feels like a home run.
Yeah, the Smith part, I think, if you ask somebody in Pittsburgh, they'll hype up Jalen Ramsey, but the coaching staff is probably sitting around going, Jonnu Smith ain't bad. He's not a bad name. They're going to utilize him everywhere. They're going to play him in the slot. They're going to play him at tight end. They're going to play him at fullback. Like, he's going to be Arthur Smith's just utility man. Whatever you need him to do, he's going to go out there and do. They had that last year in a Michael Pruitt. They thought Michael Pruitt was going to be the guy. He had familiarity with Arthur Smith in Atlanta, but he just wasn't a good player, anymore. Not to the level that they were hoping for. Jonnu Smith is a Pro Bowler. He's coming. I mean, people, again, like you said, it seems like a home run. I mean, he's a Pro Bowler last year. He has his best season in the NFL. Like, tight ends usually develop a little bit later than other positions traditionally. So at 29 years old, there's still some, left in his game that maybe is untapped, and I think the Steelers are looking at it. So they're going to utilize him everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if he is like the focal point of their offense in a couple of games this season.
Yeah, and we're seeing that, right? If you can't get enough on the outside, well, then the other way to attack that is with the tight end position. And ironically, I think the Browns are going to do a very similar thing with Harold Fandom, although they don't have the offensive firepower that Pittsburgh does, probably in totality. Talking to Noah Strackbein of Steelers on SI, All Steelers Talk on YouTube is where you can find him. Is this as most all in the Steelers have ever been on 1 year?
I think so. I truly do. Like, that's such a hard question because you want to always, you always want to calm the hype, and say, what about this season? I have a hard time looking at a year where they did this. And I was just talking about this yesterday. Somebody asked, is this the same Pittsburgh Steelers team or Omar Khan's Pittsburgh Steelers team? And I think Omar is playing a heavy hand and saying, look it, guys, we have done things the same way for so long, and it has gotten us here, which is good, consistent, but we want more. The fans want more. Let's try and be a different team, an aggressive team. And I think, again, I think Mike Tomlin just works with what he's given. I think Art Rooney is upset enough to say we need to try something new, and I think Omar Khan is saying, I know how to do that. Let's go get some guys, and they're doing it. So yes, this is the most all-in I've ever seen them, and I'm going to be honest. I don't think they're done. I think there's more coming. I think a wide receiver trade is very much so on the table, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went out and got a safety after this one as well.
Man, yeah, it's like something. Well, Philly kind of did this type of thing. a while ago with the Dream Team stuff and all of that. Like it's just not the way that Pittsburgh typically behaves. But you can kind of see how all of it's shaking that way. I'd be remiss to not ask you about how our guy Will Howard did over the month of OTAs and then minicamp. What did you see from him? Is there a future for him potentially down the road in Pittsburgh with potentially Rodgers as a mentor?
I don't know what the future of Will Howard looks like yet, but I do think that he's got a pretty good set of cards here to play with. To have Aaron Rodgers as your mentor for a season is, I don't think that could be overlooked. Is it a guaranteed? No, but it's better than Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson being your mentors for your rookie season. I just think it's a better situation. He looked good. He looked like a rookie. He looked like a guy who sometimes showed up and had an off day and sometimes showed up and made some really nice passes. There was one throw, Aaron Rodgers mentioned it on the Pat McAfee show, saying that Will threw it right over the middle in a 2-minute drill, found Darnell Washington up the seam, and it was the nicest play of minicamp. The moment there was, and you could tell everybody was fired up afterwards. So he's had his moments for sure. I don't know what the future holds for him yet. I think time will tell on that one. He's going to have a rough road because all signs point to the Steelers going after a quarterback in the 2026 draft. But I don't think they're going to say Will is a nobody. I think they will at one point give him a shot to at least compete for a job, whether that's next year or the year after.
Buddy, they are always one of the most interesting franchises in the NFL, such a loyal and huge fan base and following, and now you get this. Enjoy it. These are fun, man. When you get one of these where everybody's talking about your team, these are fun. So I hope you enjoy it, and always a great pleasure to have you on.
I appreciate it as always. I'm going to go back to my nothing because, it's been so quiet over the last couple of days. I appreciate it as always.
Watch him. All right, buddy. Good talking to you. There he is. Noah Strackbein joining us. Steelers on SI and All Steelers Talk on YouTube. Yeah, so now you go get a receiver too. It's just not their typical behavior. But it's interesting what fan bases can be fed up with. They have winning seasons every year, but they haven't won a playoff game since 2016, and they've had enough. So they went all in. And I respect teams that push it to the middle and say, let's go. And I don't know what this will elicit for Pittsburgh. Nobody does. But I think they're better on paper than they were a year ago, more dangerous, and absolutely more interesting. Get your officially endorsed in 3 things on a First Friday up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
The big one is back. The Good Guys 27th Summit Racing Nationals presented by PPG. July 11th through the 13th at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Over 6,000 of the nation's baddest hot rods, muscle cars, and trick trucks. Don't miss Good Guys autocross racing action. A tire-smoking burnout competition. A pro street takeover. Earth-shaking nitro thunderfest. Meet the top builders in the industry and more. July 11th through the 13th at the Ohio Expo Center. Details at good-guys.com.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $494 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
He shoots, he scores! No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate
today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
It's July in Central Ohio. The grills are hot, the sun is hotter, and chances are you've seen a Newman Roofing truck rolling through your neighborhood. Maybe you've talked to one of our team members at a local event, or know someone who proudly says, yeah, I've got a Newman roof. At Newman Roofing, we're more than just a roofing company. We're your neighbors. And for the last 33 years, your support has helped us grow as a family-owned business. So we give back the best way we know how. With quality work, lasting relationships, and a lifetime workmanship warranty that means you'll never be left out in the rain. Thousands of families across Central Ohio have trusted us and had their expectations exceeded. And it's why we've been voted Best Roofing Company in Best of the Bus magazine for 4 years running now. So this summer, don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
T-Bone's an expert at making mornings better. He brought back the bagel sandwiches at McDonald's. He feeds birds out of his mouth. And he hosts a radio show guaranteed to make you smile. Yay, T-Bone. Yes. T-Bone and Tyvis.
Weekday mornings at 6.
The Fan.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Hear that? That's the sound of freedom. This July, declare your independence on the open road during RCD RV's Declare Your Independence sale, running July 5th through the 19th, offering all-American savings on all in-stock motorhomes, fifth wheels, and travel trailers. Wave goodbye to ordinary vacations and say hello to adventure. Stop by any of our locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online anytime at rcdrv.com. Celebrate the red, white, and blue with unbeatable savings at RCD RV. RCD RV. Freedom starts on the open road.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody, work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Hi, Reese. What have on the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll asks, with Ohio State scheduled to play at Texas, at Alabama, at Georgia sometime in the next 5 years, if you could attend only one of these games free of admission, which would it be? The Texas game in 26, the Alabama game in 28, or the Georgia game in 2030? 33% say the game next year in Austin they'd rather attend. 48% say the game in Tuscaloosa. 18% say the game in Athens, the Georgia flavor.
I think that what'd be fun in that is if they were all next year. Like if they were all next year, which one did you want to go to? I think the one that probably the fewest people have been to of those three is probably Athens. That's my guess. That would be that place is awesome. The Athens in Georgia. The one in Ohio is very good too, Reese. Very, very nice. All right, time for your officially endorsed on this fine First Friday.
Bishop and Friends present First Friday, officially endorsed, because everyone deserves 2 Fridays.
You drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good, because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar, because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
All right, listen, it's 4th of July. It's our Independence Day. It's everything that you want. We're going to go America on this one. This is going to be a combo platter. So you're going to be sucking down a nice, cool beverage. Be Yellow Jackets for me, Garage Beer. There's a lot of good American brands out there, but it'll be a Yellow Jacket for me on Independence Day. And then I'm gonna try this one. This is one that is readily available. It is one that is delicious, and you've heard me before. I do this from time to time with the bourbon. This isn't a bourbon, but we're gonna go with a Jack Daniel's 10-year on the rock with a lemon twist. It kind of makes it taste a little bit like an iced tea. And that's pretty good on a hot Independence Day Eve. So those will be you're officially endorsed on this fine first Friday. All right, time for three things. Hit it, guys.
1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
All right, number one for me. Is there anybody on the planet better than LeBron James at doing this? So he's back in Northeast Ohio. He's in a golf cart. He has a hat on that says "Welcome Home," and he tweets it out or puts it on Instagram. Like, he's been doing this for 20 years. He's been great for 20 years, and he's been doing this for 20 years. And none of it's on accident. All of it's on purpose. Every piece matters. And you say, well, does he want to go back to the Cavs? Like, I mean, you feel like those things are in play.
20. Well, I was just going to say no. You're not coming back to Cleveland.
Can't stay away from Diamond Grill, Bo.
He loves Diamond Grill, baby. That's where they did his second contract was there.
25 years ago, the Egg McMuffin debuted at 3 McDonald's locations in Santa Barbara, California. McDonald's just announced that to celebrate the 25th anniversary on July 8th, 3 new Spicy McMuffins are going to be available. Spicy McMuffins. The Spicy Egg McMuffin, the Spicy Sausage McMuffin, and the Spicy Sausage McMuffin with egg.
Did they invent the breakfast sandwich? I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, Reese. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't get McDonald's often, but their breakfast is probably best, if not second best.
It's really good. And I do wonder, did they invent the breakfast sandwich with the Egg McMuffin?
They at least made it a national thing.
I think so. Yeah.
First thing for me, long before there was Adam Schefter, long before there was Woj or Shams, and long before there was the Elliot Friedmans and the Darren Dreggers, there was Bob McKenzie. He was really the first NHL hockey insider. And I know he's kind of taken a step back from things here in the past couple years, but yesterday was his final day of being a hockey insider. He's going to officially retire after 48 years of covering the NHL. There's nobody that's ever done it better than Bob, and there may never be anybody that does it as good as him.
Him on TSN trade deadline day.
So good.
So good. And the draft. I mean, he's so good. Growing up where I did and you were able to get Canadian television, he was a fixture for sure. Number 2 for me, I've got a yard drain that's clogged. And so last night I thought, well, let me see if I can sort this out a little bit. And it goes kind of throughout the whole depth of the property, and it starts up by the driveway. And I take the cap off the thing, and sure enough, it's filled up with water. And I have NBC with me, so I'm like, you're going to see what it takes to be a man. And he goes, why am I here? And I said, well, if something happens to me, these are the jobs that you're going to have to do. So we went out there and looked at it, and I tried to get some of it out, tried to figure out where the clog was. The reality is that one of my great ethoses is a man's got to know his limitations, and yard drain plugs are mine. So this will be something we're going to call the handyman to go see if he can get this thing sorted out, because it's out of my depth.
Second thing for me is a hey guys that we missed earlier in the program. It's President Bush, and he asks on Twitter, it's just for Eric, one has to go. So we were playing that game, a one's got to go. And his options are Ohio State football, the ability to walk, my mother, the UA 4th of July parade. To that I say, President Bush, and to my mom, sorry. Mom's got to go.
Mom's got to go. Don't let the door hit you, Mom.
I always loved watching former, I believe it was Auburn and New York Giants running back Brandon Jacobs because of his sheer size. He was 6'4", 260 pounds, just a beast of a man. I saw a picture today of him working out with his son, Braden Jacobs, who is a freshman offensive tackle at Clemson. Let me tell you what, he dwarfs his dad, Brandon Jacobs. He was huge. He is 6'7", 320 pounds. He looks like he could be the Incredible Hulk. I don't know if he can play at all, but I have a feeling he is going to be a beast for Dabo down at Clemson.
And by the way, you feel old when you hear stuff like that, or you see like
Sure
Noelle
do.
Devine's kid run 100 meters, and you go, geez, how's that possible? Finally, for me, I guess I'm just getting old, but we have this hawk who flies around the property. We've named him Hank because we like alliteration. And one of the great thrills every morning is to see where he is and what he is feasting on, because he's killing it. It's a smorgasbord of rodents that he takes out on a nightly basis. It's a scene, man, and it's damn enjoyable.
Final thing for me is just to wish everybody a safe and happy 4th of July weekend. This will be my final show until Monday. When we reconvene, let's do it with all of our digits, please. Be safe out there.
That is a good one for sure. Rothman and Ice, they're going to be good today as well. They'll have Adam Schefter on and the General, Robert Carpenter.
There you go. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. Enjoy your first Friday. Act accordingly. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We're your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah? The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We could tell you what makes Giant Eagle special, but we think our customers say it best.
I love the fresh produce. I love the fresh meat.
I'm pretty sure the fish guy knows me by now. We're buds.
I love to grill. That alone keeps me coming back.
The people that work here are so nice and so helpful.
Everybody loves the cakes from Giant Eagle.
On every shelf, in every department, we're always going for better because being your Giant Eagle matters.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
Hey, is that knee, shoulder, hip, that pain in any of your joints not getting better? You're stuck in this cycle where you keep going back to the doctor. They recommend steroid shots. Maybe they recommend surgery, rehab, and all of those things are not working for you. Before you go down the road of the surgery, you'll want to listen to this. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I want to tell you something that helped me a ton, and it'll help a lot of other people get their lives back as well. And this is no more meds and not going under the knife. I'm talking about my friends at QC Kinetics, Real Regenerative Medicine. They help your body heal itself. After years of playing professional football, I was beat up. My dad was beat up. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to have any more surgery. So I went to my friends at QC Kinetics, and they took a look at it, and they said, hey, we can help you with your knee. It's not going to be an overnight fix, but they've got protocols and procedures to help get you well without going under the knife. So here's what you do. Call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. They have offices all over Columbus.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Hey, it's Anthony. I actually enjoy the off-season. Gives me a chance to be really active, travel, be on the move. But when my back started giving me pain, I wasn't going to just deal with it this time. I went to the Good Feet store. Their personally fit arch supports got my feet into their ideal alignment, and I could already feel the difference in my back immediately. And they educated me. I had no clue. We actually have several arches under our feet, and those cushy over-the-counter insoles were not going to do the trick. So many people suffering with pain can benefit from their system. People with pain in their feet, ankles, lower legs, knees, hips, and more. I've been wearing my personally fit arch supports for a while now, and they've given me the motivation and confidence to be as active as I want to be. The Good Feet store thrives on being solution-oriented. Go in. The fitting is free. They want you to try them in the store and feel them for yourself. So get back to living the life you love with the Good Feet store. They're on Stringtown Road in Grove City and on Polaris Parkway. Or check them out at goodfeet.com.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver. Leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
Hey, look, it's Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Say hi, Bob.
Hi,
Hi, Bob.
You know what I love the most about your store?
What's that, common man?
The way you treat people. You get to know your customers. That's why they keep coming back. No sleazeballs around. Just good, clean boys and girls selling jewelry.
Stop in and see the difference for yourself.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington. WorthingtonJewelers.com. It's where Columbus gets engaged. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Save no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.